Welcome to Chinese Novel Audiobook. One Piece Infinity Gloves. Chapter 1. Infinite Glove. Luo Qing is very painful sitting on the beach and looking at the endless blue sea in front of him, hoping that a boat will discover this small island and bring him back to human civilization and leave this prehistoric forest. 7 days have passed since he inexplicably crossed here. Recalling that 7 days ago, he was still an inconspicuous second-generation rice bug among all living beings on Earth. It's the kind with a little money at home and assets of over 100 million yuan. His goal in life is to survive the past few decades in peace and smoothly, and then successfully inherit those, evil, legacy from his father. Then strive to take these, sources of all evil, from the people and use them for the people, and at most save some, sources of fire, to pass on to their descendants. Luo Qing thinks that he is really too conscious every time he thinks about his future plans for life. Can raise the word prodigal to such a height, self-hypnotized even he believes it. In a sense, he is indeed a genius. So when he watched the premiere of Women's Federation 3 with his North girlfriend, he listened to the words of the young lady who sold the cute and sweet voices around him. Do you want to know about the same infinite gloves of Thanos? Luo Qing decisively took out his mobile phone in the slightly fiery eyes of her companion and the opposite young lady. Scan the QR code, the fingerprint payment is successful, pack and leave. Same style, infinite glove that a certain treasure only sells for a few $100s, Luo Qing spent a lot of 9,999. Can their eyes be fiery? I only met the female student of a certain famous university who hadn't had any in-depth exchanges for 2 days and was about to hang on Luo Qing's body. As for the eyes and expressions of the young lovers watching the excitement and good friends, all of them were automatically understood by him as envy, jealousy and hatred. After returning to the hotel, the gold-worshipping female student went to take a shower with ease. And Luo Qing opened the package curiously, and took out the infinite gloves made by Thanos reality. When took it out, a small piece of paper fell on the ground. Luo Qing opened it, and it turned out that it was the secret signal left to him by the little sister who sold the surroundings. If there is more energy left for a while, he doesn't mind going to heaven again. But when he looked at this 10,000 yuan, big toy, he always felt that something was wrong. Father Grandma's gram. Just when Luo Qing was about to try it on, he finally knew what was wrong. Shente Mo's Thanos is the same style. Thanos' infinite glove is obviously worn on the left hand. How can he be right-handed? This is embarrassing. As a qualified and low-key rich second generation, Luo Qing is not deceived once or twice, but who makes him rich? But such a silly times thing still makes him very depressed. Forget it, right hand is right, maybe this is Odin's one. Luo Qing comforted himself so much, because he seemed to vaguely remember that there was such an egg in Thor 3. Brother Hammer and his sister found alright hand version, infinity glove in their father's treasure house, and they still brought gems. Yes, but it should be just a model. With a more nervous mind, he simply accepted this setting, and then took advantage of the gap in which the fairy who might come out at any time to absorb the essence of his life was still washing away the fragrance. He solemnly stretched out his right hand. Go in. When he opened his eyes again, he landed on this small island full of unnamed trees and various genetically mutated beasts. What is even more incredible is that the golden, right-hand version of the infinity glove is still intact on his right hand, even the size automatically fits on his skin, and it can't be taken off. At first, he also wondered if he was kidnapped, or the pranks of his friends and dogs. But when he found tigers more than 10 meters tall, gorillas more than 20 meters tall, and various magical species that were pale in terms of genetic mutations, he was roughly certain that he might no longer be there. The familiar Earth is now. Isn't it the crossing of the bad street? Luo Qing, who is very nervous and optimistic by nature, soon came in interest. But immediately after being hit by the natural gap between the species, I no longer dared to go deep into the forest within 100 meters. Have you seen a giant python over 100 meters long? Luo Qing, who was almost swallowed by it, is still terribly scared in retrospect. If it weren't for the giant python's target at that time, it was not his little bug, but a 5-meter-long cheetah who was about to attack his little bug. If so, then his legendary journey may end in the first chapter. So after that, Luo Qing, who still couldn't figure out where he was, had to hide on this desolate beach by the sea, and the beasts in the forest seemed to have no interest in his little bug. Yu reading www. Yuakanshu.com. So the question is, a rice worm who has lived for more than 20 years without any survival skills or knowledge of survival in the wild is thrown alone on an isolated island where a giant beast is rampant. How should he survive? Catch fish. Not to mention whether he can catch it. The smallest and most kind fish he has seen hiding on the beach these days are all 2 or 3 meters long, and they are still those with sharp teeth in their mouths. Is it sure he caught the fish instead of the fish eating him? So the road to eat the sea by the sea will definitely not work. But fortunately, after his observations over the past few days, he found that generally the outermost ones are relatively weak and less aggressive creatures after all. So he limited his range of activities to a distance of 20 meters in the forest. At this distance, he could harvest some fruits that fell on the ground. He couldn't climb the tree anymore. Trees tens of meters high didn't have any climbing for him. It's too unfriendly for newcomers who have tree skills. Fortunately, there seems to be a monkey tribe living nearby, and most of the fruits that Luo Qing picked up were dropped by them. Amazing, my monkey brother. Monkeys can eat it, but he can't eat it for no reason. It's impossible for a virgin forest like this to have pesticides or the like. So after confirming that it was not poisonous, Luo Qing was so lucky to survive. Every day during the day, I waited for the illusory rescue boat at the beach. When I was hungry, I went to find the fruit that the monkey brother didn't like. At night, I went back to my own temporary shelter that I could barely shelter from the wind and rain. The wild beast that came out on a whim to digest and walk was eaten as a supper. He also chose it in the vicinity of the monkey tribe. At least from the contacts in the past few days, the monkey and the others only eat fruit. Chapter 2. Animal Devil Fruit. After sitting for a whole morning looking bored at the calm sea, Luo Qing, helpless, stood up to find Brother Monkey for alms. After these days of friendly and peaceful getting along, the monkey brothers seemed to have known him, a strange and harmless creature. In this forest, even if their group of monkeys is the weakest kind of creature, otherwise they would not be driven to the outermost part of the forest. Fortunately, they only eat fruits, and the fruits in this forest are extremely rich. As long as they unite to resist the powerful, foreign enemies, they can live as moist. So suddenly I saw a creature that I had never seen before, and was still so weak that it could only follow their buttocks to pick up fruit and eat. They showed great interest for a while. After the initial vigilance, every time Luo Qing comes over, there will be a few curious little monkeys holding some fruits that he has never seen before on the earth to give him. Relatively, Luo Qing also expressed his kindness by means within his power. For example, using my left hand, which is not wrapped in the infinite glove, to catch lice and stroke the hair for these little monkeys, they get along very well. It's a pity that the monkeys are smart, but they are far from talking. After all, people are still social animals. On this dangerous island where there are no other people to communicate with, Luo Qing's mood is depressed every day. Optimism is only relative. When the bottom line is broken down, the optimistic person will instantly collapse. These cute little monkeys gave Luo Qing some psychological comfort and relieved his gradual depression. Just as Yunmo was sitting on the ground, eating sweet, delicious and juicy fruit with one hand, and helping a few naughty little monkeys with the other hand tickling it, he suddenly found a very strange looking but with a hint of speech. The fruit of the familiar feeling. He did eat a lot of strange looking fruits these days, but it was the first time that he gave him such a strange feeling. So he picked up the fruit curiously and began to look at it. If we talk about the shape alone, it is no different from the bananas he can see everywhere on the earth. But the black and white colors and the tang grass-like spiral pattern that seemed weird no matter how it looked, made Luo Qing involuntarily stop the movements of his hands and began to ponder. How is this stuff so similar to the waste he bought back at an agricultural exhibition before? He still remembers that he was soaking in a beautiful graduate student of the National Agricultural University, and then he was miserably trapped at the exhibition, and spent 100,000 to buy 3 legendary devil fruits. The shape and color look exactly the same as in the manga. To be able to cultivate the fruit into such a wonderful and magical look, To be honest, Luo Qing still admires it, so when he bought it home and found that the three fruits didn't taste good, and they didn't give him any magical abilities, he chose retaliation. After he stunned that beautiful graduate student with money, he changed every day to unlock new poses, which also included the characters such as Nami Robin in the Cuz One Piece, which made him report these three fake devil fruits. Enmity. It's a pity that he came here somehow, and he doesn't know if the girl student washes it white and fragrant enough, which will be cheaper. He opened the room, and he made the girls. I feel sad when I think about it. By the way, and the young lady who is going to give him, after sales service, after get off work, I don't know if she will be sad. The sad Casey flies. Inexplicably, Luo Qing's thoughts went astray and I don't know where. What made him even more uncomfortable was that after he was interrupted by those little monkeys who felt that he was sniffed by hanging on his body and grabbing his hair, he unexpectedly felt that these little monkeys were a little delicate. Scared, he hurriedly smoked a few big mouths of himself, guilty, and almost caught the eye of the crab monster. So, this thing won't be a real devil fruit, am I? I won't be so unlucky to travel to this chaotic era of great pirates. Luo Qing is even more depressed. Is it really a good proof? As long as you eat this Shang-flavored banana that resembles the devil fruit animal system, everything will be clear. Devil fruit. Although the shape should look like an animal, on this precarious island, strengthening your survival ability is the most important thing. I just don't know what kind of animal it is. It would be embarrassing to transform into an eel. By the way, the animal system of devil fruit seems to have never found any animals in the sea. Is this a kind of curse? It's just that anyone who has read the original should know the lethality of this fruit. Even Luffy's kind of crazy guys can't accept the taste. Goodbye, my braised hoof. Goodbye, my boiled fish. Goodbye. Just when Luo Qing was about to bite the bullet and feel the real Shang flavor, Yu reading www.yuakanshu.com, the infinite gloves that hadn't been moving since the crossing suddenly began to shine. Could it be that my cheat is online? Yunmo immediately began to study the new reaction of the infinite glove of his right hand with excitement, but after he tried a series of methods such as rubbing, opening the door with sesame seeds, and prajna paramita, the thing was still hanging. And it seems that the light is getting weaker. Luo Qing was a little anxious, but he forced himself to calm down. As a qualified rich second generation, even if the ideal is to eat and wait to die and prodigal, under the influence of the family environment, there are some shining points that are superior to ordinary people. At least his father always taught him not to be anxious and not nervous when things happen. The more critical the situation, the more so. Only by calming down can the key to breaking the game be found. Many of the principles in the market are also applicable to life. So Luo Qing began to calmly recall all the information he knew about infinite gloves. Although the light on the infinite glove is getting weaker and weaker, and there are more than 10 little monkeys hanging on him, he is still thinking about it calmly. Infinite gloves. 6 infinite gems. Carrier. Fusion. Exercising power. I know. Luo Qing took a deep breath. He felt that he might have guessed something. What he has to do next will be a great innovation. He ignored the already undetectable soft light on the infinite gloves, but first picked up the fruit that was suspected of being a devil fruit, but he did not plan to eat it himself this time, but used it to feed his hand. Infinite gloves. I saw him frowning and picking up the banana, slowly approaching one of the grooves on the infinite glove. Chapter 3. 6 Grooves. The banana-shaped devil fruit slowly approached the groove on the infinite glove. During this approach, Luo Qing clearly felt the suction from the infinite glove. There is a play. After his eyes widened and let go, within the range visible to the naked eye, the devil fruit that could fit on a plate shrank at an extremely fast speed, and then revealed a gem-like brilliance. Boom! A clear and crisp sound rang in Luo Qing's ears. He succeeded. His guess is correct. Seeing that he had successfully inlaid an infinite glove with a devil fruit on his right hand, Luo Qing fell into the double taboo of joy and bewilderment. Whoever stipulates the infinite gloves must have the infinite gems. Do you see it? Devil fruits can do the same. After this animal demon fruit successfully merged with the infinite glove, the light that had been previously inexhaustible suddenly burst into infinite light. The little monkeys were frightened by this incident, and they all moved away from Luo Qing, who was like a super-powered light bulb. This is in the daytime, it can still shine with such a dazzling light. This moment Luo Qing is more calm. This time, it's absolutely awesome times. When the light dissipated, the lifeless infinite glove finally returned to its true brilliance, the whole streamer running, full of treasure. Ming Ming's body is all gold color, but it is not out of the ordinary and looks domineering. Is the other 5 grooves that are still vacant on it, which is a bit monotonous. And Luo Qing, who really activated the infinite glove, finally understood the origin and purpose of the infinite glove in his hand. It turns out that before Thanos built the Infinity Gloves, someone had already collected 6 Infinity Gems, in fact, more than 6, but the others were rumored or spoofed, so I don't mention it. They were used to inspire 6 Infinity Gems. The container of gem power is the infinite glove that Luo Qing is wearing at this time. The model in the Odin's treasury was made by imitating the former infinite glove. Thanos is also because they know that the dwarves have once created a container that can hold 6 infinite gems and perfectly exert their power, so they came to the door. The above plot was made up by myself, don't be true. But it's definitely not made in X. Let's see the Easter egg of Thor 3 by myself. So everything made sense. As for what happened at that time, why did the first infinite glove born in this universe come into his hands, and why did it bring him into this world? These information gloves did not respond to him, so he did not know. Don't care about him. Luo Qing is now completely plunged into excitement. Just because the power of his infinite glove is so awesome, he doesn't need any infinite gems, as long as the energy of the same nature and the same origin can be embedded in the groove and perfectly display its original ability. Means that Luo Qing does not need to feel the taste of Shang, he only needs to inlay the devil fruit obtained into the groove of the glove, and he can have all the abilities of a person with normal devil fruit ability, including the development and awakening of the devil fruit ability. And because it is inlaid on the glove instead of being eaten, there is no curse of the sea, the restraint of the sea tower stone. The more important point is yet to come. There are 6 grooves on the infinite glove. 6. Blackbeard isn't awesome. Those with double fruit ability are great. Suspected Hellhound's 3 fruit ability person hangs. What Chihuahai, the 4 emperors, the admiral, the 5 old stars, and the dragon people. At this moment, Luo Qing is really inflated. Wait for him to gather 6 awesome devil fruits. Isn't it a bit modest to say that it's not fair to push the world? Do you want to snap your fingers? Is that although the use of devil fruit through infinite gloves is convenient and has no side effects, the physical strength and energy consumed will still be consumed. As for his weak chicken physical ability, whether a fruit ability can be used well or not has to be questioned. If he becomes a 3-second man, it would be too funny. Fortunately, Luo Qing is not so worried about this fundamental problem. How could an artifact like Infinite Glove only have such a simple function? In addition to its own small and practical function of 100 cubic meters of internal space, it also has the most basic absorption and transformation function. In popular terms, it can extract the energy of the devil fruit through some mysterious transformation, and then inject it into Luo Qing's body for reinforcement. The disadvantage is that the devil fruit that has been processed in this way disappears in this world forever. After all, the most basic energy has been emptied. But would people like Luo Qing care about this small flaw? Obviously not. Luo Qing, who had reached a peak of excitement, finally couldn't bear to test the power of the infinite glove in his hand. He quickly moved away from the place where the little monkeys lived to the outermost part of the forest, and then used his mind to communicate the infinite glove. The first groove symbolizing the animal devil fruit suddenly lit up with black and white light, which was the original color on the devil fruit. Then Luo Qing found that his whole person had changed. Black and hard hair grows from his body at an extremely fast speed, and his fingers have become slender and advantageous. It seems that it is more appropriate to describe it as a claw. Even the infinite glove has become an infinite claw set. It is said that the devil fruit of the animal system has the greatest increase in all aspects of the physical body of the capable person. Luo Qing felt the power that was constantly emerging from his body at this time. Yu reading www.yuakanshu.com. Indeed, excessive power growth caused him to have an urge to rush into the forest and fight with the overlord-level beasts. But when he accidentally saw his ghostly appearance with the help of the principle of mirror reflection, on the infinite glove, he immediately lost this impulse, and instead developed another impulse from his heart. This Nima is too ugly. The beastly Luo Qing twitched the corners of his mouth while looking at what he looked like at this time. Never mind the ugliness, Luo Qing even inferred from the smooth white hair in the middle of his head what the first devil fruit he got was really. Isn't this sharp look exactly my flat-headed brother who says, people don't speak much, and, does it if you refuse to accept? The scientific name, honey badger, Huan. I want to ask how a rich second generation like Luo Qing recognizes such an unpopular animal. It can be attributed to a certain beast girl fighting. How can Nima introduce her abilities to others after going out? Well, hello everyone, I am the honey badger fruit ability. Or, I am a capable person in the form of a honey badger, and surrender quickly. I really hate the cold thinking about it. What's wrong with powerful? What can be done with good defense and poison resistance? When you encounter a more powerful and handsome fruit ability in the future, you must change it. I don't know wherever I go now, it's a world of faces. The shortcoming of ugly is doomed to the devil fruit ability of the animal system. Chapter 4. Not everyone is called Friday. A month has passed since Luo Qing activated the infinite gloves unknowingly. Within a month, naturally no ship appeared in his vision, not even a ghost shadow. There are just beasts that fight for food all the time. And as a person with the ability to form a honey badger, Luo Qing, the flat-headed brother Luo Qing, who is abbreviated as the honey badger man, seems to have a tendency to develop into a stunned head. To say that being capable of devil fruit, apart from being afraid of sea water, Halushi has the weaknesses of domineering, other side effects are not without. For example, a certain ice man who likes to hibernate but can't wake up and always rides a bicycle around. Because the whole body is made of rubber, he can expand his stomach unscrupulously. There is also the little red dog who owes himself tens of billions of Bailey, because he ate the rock berry. This characteristic seems to be more prominent in the animals with ability. While inheriting the special abilities of these animals, some instinctive habits and personality characteristics also affect the users all the time. For example, people who eat egg fruit will become like laying eggs. Don't ask me why, and don't ask me why the fruit is not superhuman but animal. And Luo Qing will change when he uses the honey badger abilities, very edible, and likes to fight with people. Regardless of whether you have fought or not, whether you can eat or not, rush up and talk about it. Put it on the earth, it is a properly stunned green, the kind that doesn't knock down the south wall and can't pull it down. So within this month of obtaining this devil fruit ability, Luo Qing quickly promoted from a cautious, living, state to a fearless, bear boy, no matter what he saw. Maybe the honey badger fruit didn't bring him any offensive power, but that stubborn fur would tell all predators what despair is. And Luo Qing also relied on his strong defensive power and resilience to repeatedly escape from the mouths of those extremely powerful overlord creatures. A variety of fruits are no longer his only food, his staple food has become every carnivorous beast he defeated. There is also a large turtle who touched the shore while the night was dark and wanted to treat him as a snack. He was inexplicably turned into a honey badger, and killed him. Quack, crispy chicken flavor. I thought that hiding in the turtle shell would help you. You can easily crush the tortoise shell and use the sharp teeth for potato chips to understand. So, in just 1 month, every day is delicious, and nutritious, and with a group of companions fighting to fight, Luo Qing has successfully grown from a rice worm that eats and waits to die to a rice worm with certain power. This bronze-colored muscular body was something he couldn't even think of when he was on Earth. Apart from the 3 overlord-level bosses in this forest, there is nothing he can't manage. Even if you can't beat it, running is fine. So it is said that what kind of character can be grown in what kind of environment. Except rice bugs. 1 year later, on an isolated island in a certain sea area, a young man in his 20s with only a piece of animal skin wrapped in his eyes was chasing a chimpanzee hammer that was 25 meters high. The 3 major overlords of this island, a majestic tiger with pure white fur, have been trained by him to become a docile cat. That 100-meter-long python was used by him as a happy nest for sleeping at night setup, although it was a bit cold. Now this chimpanzee is always disobedient to discipline. So Luo Qing, who has been here for more than a year, now's main daily entertainment is eating and sleeping, hammering orangutans. After I don't know how many times this cunning chimpanzee fell to the ground with a hammer, the chimpanzee once again showed a flattering smile without shame. If you don't look at that head bag, it's no different from the chimpanzees in the zoo for people to watch. It's a pity that Luo Qing, who has been betrayed several times, can't easily believe it. I said Dahe, I think you are a typical person who remembers eating or not playing. Look at Xiaobai and Ahua, how happy they are every day. All day long I eat and sleep, and eat after I sleep. Think about the days you used to fight for territory every day, and look at the present. Isn't yours mine? Mine is mine naturally, don't you understand this truth? Luo Qing sat in front of the chimpanzee and talked endlessly. After a year of suffocation, I couldn't even find a person to speak. Luo Qing is not crazy and has a tough temperament. Finally caught this human-like chimpanzee, who suffers from suffering. Otherwise, why are the three major overlords thinking about running away all day long? It really doesn't hurt to be beaten. But compared to being beaten, it is more uncomfortable to endure Luo Qing's ink marks. So it chose to escape, and it chose to fight. It's a pity that this island is not that big when it is said to be big, but it is really not too small to say that it is small, but it is an isolated island after all. You read www.uakanshu.com. Where can it go? Except for the first few times, he hid for several days with his familiarity with the island, and lived a leisurely life for a few days. But then what awaits it is endless pain and torture. Luo Qing takes less and less time to catch it every time, just like this time it only ran for an hour in a sneaky way, and was beaten up by Luo Qing who was chasing it up. This day really can't be done. If Dahe could talk, it would definitely cry and beg him, let him go and harm the other two. An hour later, Luo Qing, who was addicted to his mouth, never let go of the pitiful Dahe who was on the verge of collapse. Dahe escape also left his side, making Luo Qing feel the difficulty of being a parent, and it's hard to control the child when he is wild. After finishing his daily entertainment activities, Luo Qing climbed up the tallest tree in the forest and looked into the distance. It has been more than a year, and his heart has turned from the initial expectation to numbness. He has made up his mind. If there is no boat passing by this sea area, he will make a bamboo raft by himself and leave here. He was pretty sure, even with the help of infinite gloves and devil fruit, it is almost impossible to carry him safely to the next island with a small bamboo raft. But he can't wait any longer. Instead of dying here to be a savage, he might as well die in the sea after doing his best. The former believer that death is worse than living, he naturally did not have this courage, but the primitive life of more than a year has completely changed him. At least he has had enough of this savage life. After all, not everyone is called Friday. Chapter 5. Finally there is a boat. Just as he repeated this behavior mechanically, he suddenly rubbed his eyes. There seems to be a black spot on the sea level in this direction. He straightened up abruptly and stared at it intently. There must be something there. For more than a year, he spent a lot of time staring at the sea level every day. He was sure that he could not be wrong. But whether it is the ship he is thinking about is still to be discussed, or it may be the Sea King who emerged from the deep sea. He had an oolong before and almost got his life. In the sea, it is still a place for sea kings and murlocs. After standing in this position for an entire hour, Luo Qing finally determined that the black spot on the sea ahead was not a sea king, but a genuine ship. Because he saw the upright mast, there were flags hanging on it, but it was still a little far away, and he couldn't see what was painted on it. But regardless of whether the ship was carrying a navy or a pirate, a civilian or a merchant ship, Luo Qing was not going to let it go. This might be the only way for him to leave here alive. So he excitedly inspired the honey badger's orc form to jump directly from the tree, and then pointed in that direction and started flying. After this year of hunting and being hunted, Luo Qing dare not say that he is already a qualified fighter, but there is still no problem in calling him the title of experienced hunter. Not to mention the amazing defensive power brought to him by the honey badger fruit and the confidence that the infinite potential of the infinite glove brings him. The only pity is that he almost searched the entire island, but he couldn't find the second devil fruit. It is regrettable. Luo Qing is also very open about it. It is impossible for him to take advantage of all good things. It is really great luck for this island to have an animal devil fruit. Without this devil fruit, the ability of the infinite glove would not be activated, and he would not be able to live so nourished. Maybe someday he would be taken away by a beast for dinner. Luo Qing, who was so emotional, finally came to the beach with the fastest movement. After confirming that the other party's course direction is his side, he waited patiently. Now he is going to the sea desperately to swim there for fear of death not fast enough. If he has been stupid once, he will naturally not make a second mistake. But what if the other party changes the route halfway? How can a person swim at a speed that can catch up with a fully powered boat? After thinking about it, Luo Qing immediately yelled at the forest. Suddenly the inside of the forest shook, and countless birds living here were taken to the sky by surprise. What Luo Qing is going to do is to attract the attention of the other party. The bird is only one of the inconspicuous links, and his backhand is these giants in front of him. Luo Qing's roar is like a signal. The top creatures in the entire forest lined up in front of him, including the three major overlords, Dahe, Xiaobai and Awa. The talent in naming, Luo Qing feels that he is already the best in the world. Why do you want such a complicated name? Can you eat it? Satisfyingly looked at the dozens of creatures in front of him that could be fierce beasts, Luo Qing sent all the unusable creatures back to the forest, and then left all the loud ones, among them the ****** and Xiaobai who are obviously blessed. Howl. Let go of my throat, howl. If anyone does not work hard, everyone can have a full meal tonight. Luo Qing hummed threateningly, and I don't know if they understand. At this time, the importance of Dahe was manifested. After confirming that Luo Qing was only letting them roar at the sea, instead of chanting them, Dahe hammered his own chest hard, feeling that his internal organs would be covered. Shocked out. Ho 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 ho, whoop. With Dahe's lead and a blurry way of communication, all the animals that were left began to cry out for their lives. It should work now. Luo Qing felt that his ears would be deafened if he stayed here, so he retreated decisively. After getting a little farther, he climbed up a big tree again, and he didn't know if the roar was done, but he felt that the ship was getting closer and closer to him anyway. Was so close that he could vaguely see the situation on the ship. Burnt flags, broken masts, bumpy hulls. Is like just after a fierce battle. The fact is also true. Because Luo Qing has already discovered that there is a pirate ship with a skull and crossbones behind this ship, following it closely. From time to time, he can see the splashing water on the water. It should be the cannon they fired. Judging from this situation, the ship behind seemed to deliberately not sink the ship in front. The situation is now obvious. The pirates will not let their prey go. They also need to maximize their profits. After all, the sunk ship loses too much, and they don't have the energy and patience to go salvage. So in a panic fleeing, the ship in front of the suspected fat sheep broke into this unpopulated sea. If there is no such variable as myself, it is estimated that the people in the ship ahead will not have a good end. Either they are killed on the spot or sold as slaves. Women will undoubtedly be even worse. But obviously there are smart people on the fat sheep ship ahead. Captain, are you sure you want to go there? Don't you hear such a ferocious beast call? The chief mate at the helm has fallen into deep despair. There are beasts before and pirates behind. Under the water there are sea kings who can eat people without spitting out bones. How can they survive in this desperate situation? But the middle-aged man called the captain did not give up hope. He still insisted on his choice. He is the captain of this ship, and also the president of a chamber of commerce. He can do this today from scratch, and he relies on daring to fight. An island with so many howling beasts can change their bad situation from 10 deaths to 9 deaths, why not fight? After all, no matter how fierce the beast is, it just follows its instinct. Even if some of them will be eaten as food, at least some of them can survive, and there is a chance for a comeback. And the greedy pirates who want to come to spare the treasure on their ship will not be frightened by a few beasts. It is natural that they can drag a few enemies into the water before they die. I don't want to lose out on this transaction. The ruthlessness in the eyes of the middle-aged man flashed past. Since the other party is so greedy, try to see if your mouth is hard enough. The island in front of the target, move at full speed. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel Chapter 6, First Murder. Roar. When the tattered merchant ship that was hid in the chase finally approached this island, everyone's face revealed a desperation. Not to mention the two overlord-level beasts, Dahe and Xiao Bai, the dozens of fierce eyes behind them made these people shudder. Captain, let's get around here and run away. The chief officer suggested with affright. The middle-aged man who was called the captain hesitated for a while, but after looking back, his eyes became firm. The boat docked. This ship is dead. If you don't want to be sold as a slave, you can run as far as you can after getting off the ship. Life and death have fate, wealth and wealth are in heaven, whoever is dead or alive will bet on luck. If anyone can survive and return to the Chamber of Commerce, remember. You must take revenge for the dead. You must make the ****** pay the price of blood. The mobilization of the middle-aged captain aroused the last hope and motivation of the crew. Yes, spell it. Don't be so pessimistic, in case these beasts are all vegetarian, hee hee. As they approached the shore gradually, looking at the ferocious beasts in front of them, everyone fell into a deadly silence again, for fear that some noise would cause their ferociousness. And Luo Qing, the flat-headed brother, who had become a beast at this time, also mixed in among his group of younger brothers, unremarkable. When the ship finally landed, no one dared to get off the ship first. In this case, the one who went out first would definitely become the food of the beasts, creating opportunities for the people behind. In the face of life and death, no one can be so selfless. Ha ha ha. Let's run. At this time, the pirate ship that was catching up from behind was also approaching here, and the ugly-faced pirate on the ship did not hesitate to laugh at his own mockery. This cat-and-mouse game is over. Surrender, I promise we only seek for money and not kill people, ha ha. The captain is really bad, in case these people are particularly spine, I would rather feed the beast than surrender. Since they can't make a decision, let's help them, aim at the rear of the hull and shoot. Yes, Captain. The one-eyed captain licked his dry lips bloody, and after he received a message from the insider that the Bluebird Chamber of Commerce had accidentally obtained a valuable treasure, he led his men and horses to intercept his return route. It's just that I didn't expect that there were still a lot of good players on this humble merchant ship, and they ran out unexpectedly. But in the case of damage to the hull, this behavior is just a futile struggle. The two bangs of the cannons awakened the struggling crew members on the ship, and the solid cannonball that fell into the water behind him whispered in their ears like a reminder. The middle-aged captain has noticed the wavering in many people's eyes, so his eyes flashed sharply. Everyone rushed with me, surrendering is just a death. Do you want to be slaves for life? The words of the middle-aged captain suddenly came to their hearts, so they became firm and did not hesitate to follow the captain and rush into the forest. Seeing these little bugs running here, Dahe and the others instinctively showed their desire to attack, but they all sat back obediently under the cries of, "Fathead." This scene is very strange. Everyone rushed down with the belief that they would die, but unexpectedly discovered that these huge beasts seemed to have no interest in them, and let them run over in front of their eyes. After the middle-aged captain led people to escape into the forest, each of them couldn't help but look back. It was really weird. Are the beasts of this island really vegetarian animals that only eat fruits? Not only did they not understand, but even the pirates who were waiting for the good show had their eyes widened, looking incredible. Can anyone tell me what is going on in this world? Could it be that this group of beasts have eaten enough so they are not interested in these little things? The one-eyed captain was a little at a loss for a while. Captain, they all ran away. What should I do? Chase after? Look in first to find out all the valuable things in the boat. If the treasures on the ship satisfy him, then he doesn't mind exiling them here for a lifetime of savages. Just a few minutes later. Captain, we were fooled. Only hundreds of thousands of Baileys were found on the whole ship, the secret treasure of shit, not even a shadow was seen. Listening to the first mate's words, One-Eye's expression turned gloomy, but he believed that Nei Ying would definitely not dare to lie to him, unless his family didn't want his life. It should have been taken away by those people and chased it ashore. After gritting his teeth, One-Eye did this action that made him want to regret but had nowhere to buy regret medicine. Although all the beasts sitting in rows on the shore behaved very well behaved, those who escaped in front unharmed are the best evidence. But they were still moving cautiously after they landed, until the person in the front was about to run to the edge of the forest, and all of them were relieved. UU reading www.uakanshu.com. It seems that these beasts are all weird. They are either full or only vegetarian. They are so bluffing. Just when they thought about it, they suddenly heard a roar, which shocked them. Then their expressions turned pale. The little guys suddenly rioted and rushed towards them with a strong shock. Run. They are not aggressive. Why are they so? Don't eat me, don't. Ah. My hand. My hand. Help, help me. These pirates are just the most common dragon suits. They are a little stronger than the average person, and they are not enough to look at in front of these ferocious beasts. When the one-eyed captain recovered from the shock, most of the people he brought were dead, and their deaths were so miserable that they were almost eaten as snacks. And just when he was panicking and preparing to escape back to his boat, Luo Qing, who had already been eyeing him, was waiting behind him. The sharp claws were gently stroked on the one-eyed neck, and the head that still had an incomprehensible expression rolled to the ground, and the body followed the inertia and ran forward for 2 steps before falling down unwillingly. Ground. It feels bad to kill for the first time. But for Luo Qing, who has experienced the primitive hunting life for more than a year, this level of blood can only cause him slight discomfort at best, and then quickly suppress the uncomfortable feeling. He is now in a world where the strong are respected, killing and being killed will become the norm. So he has to adapt to this world as quickly as possible. There is really no such thing as hypocritical. Chapter 7. First take a 1 billion flowers. After Luo Qing will stay on the ship and the pirates who want to take the opportunity to escape are quickly solved, Dahe and the others have also completed the battlefield cleaning. The scene is very scary, so I won't describe it further. Then Luo Qing returned to his original appearance, and at the same time, with a thought, he hid the infinite glove on his right hand. The infinite gloves that came with him were already bound to his soul, and couldn't be taken off at all, but they could be hidden in his right hand. This was also a small technique he had developed over the past year. It's just that you can't hide it when using abilities. Luo Qing sometimes wonders, if he becomes famous in the future, will someone give him the title of Golden Right Hand? After dismissing them, Luo Qing alone was looking for the previous group of people who fled into the forest. After all, he still needs these people to bring him back to civilized society. He doesn't know how to sail, and he can inquire about some information by the way. He doesn't know how to benefit himself at what time it is now. Luo Qing, who had been a hunter for more than a year and often played hide and seek with Dahe, soon found them. It's just that they don't seem to be doing well right now. Go go. Ahua, you scared my guests. These people are also really unlucky. They have to run to Ahua's site. If Ahua has not had a good appetite recently, none of these people will survive. But despite this, the feeling of being stared at by a giant python over 100 meters long is absolutely terrible. They were so frightened that they didn't dare to move until Luo Qing came to look for them. Ahua's IQ is not high, but some basic commands can still form a conditioned reflex, so after looking at these people again, Ahua twisted her enchanting body and left. Who scared me to death? I thought I was dead this time. That means, I have never seen such a big snake in my life. Once again, the rest of their lives left them exhausted and excited, but they immediately remembered something strange, that python seems to have a name. Who are you? A young man asked in horror. He was sure that this person was not theirs, and there was a high possibility that it was a pirate who had caught up with him, but the python just heard it again. His words. It's messy, and many people have their heads crashed. Fortunately, the middle-aged captain stood up at this time. Hello, thank you for your life-saving grace just now. I am the captain of this ship, Old John. Luo Qing was a little surprised. He originally thought he couldn't understand their language, but he didn't expect to understand it. Thinking about it, it should be one of the small abilities that Infinite Gloves brought him. It's much easier to communicate. So Luo Qing also introduced himself with a smile. My name is Luo Qing and I am the owner of this island. The beasts you saw when you went to the island just now were my pets, including Ahua just now. One of the negotiation skills, the real and the real. Negotiating skills 2, be thick-skinned. Sure enough, as his voice fell, many people held their breath and looked at him with incredible worship eyes. Contain so many fierce beasts, how strong this person should be. If he can be persuaded to take action, the beasts alone can drive off the pirates outside, right? Everyone was excited, including old John. Dear island owner, I have an unrelenting request. Can you please take action to kill the pirates outside? Of course, in return, we will do our best for all your requirements as long as we can do it. With these words, it is easy to handle, everyone is bluffed by him, and all the pirates are killed, and the rest is naturally time for profit. As the son of a successful businessman, doing good deeds without asking for reward will be cleared. Although his current situation is similar to that of the door being cleared, he must not lose his integrity. So Luo Qing groaned for a while and said, saving so many of you and getting into a boat of pirates, I'm afraid you can't afford it. Old John knew that the young man in animal skins in front of him was the last hope of his group, so he couldn't give up anything. After gritting his teeth, old John put himself on the needle board. As long as you can kill those wicked pirates and protect us back to the Chamber of Commerce, we will definitely be able to give you a satisfactory reward. Are you a merchant ship of the Chamber of Commerce? Yes, I am the president of the Blue Bird Chamber of Commerce. Old John proudly stood up his chest. Starting from scratch to establish such a small-scale Chamber of Commerce is naturally the most comfortable thing in his life. And Luo Qing's eyes lit up, and he didn't expect to catch a big fish. Or the lion opened his mouth, he would be sorry for his father's years of soul education. That's okay, I will kill all the pirates, and then you back, how about a tentative payment of 1 billion berry? Old John's proud face collapsed suddenly, and the muscles on his face began to twitch unconsciously. Hee hee, you're kidding, even if the entire Jade Bird Chamber of Commerce is packaged and sold, it is not worth 1 billion Baileys. Reading www.uakanshu.com, old John was very speechless. So poor, then you still blow so evil. Luo Qing doesn't give face at all. This is his place. It depends on how he feels whether he flattens these people or rounds them up. Then how much can you give? Let me talk about it first, I won't do this business if the money is less. Also, don't think you can fool me. If you negotiate the price and don't accept it, you should be careful. When encountering such a life-saving straw demanding money, old John can do nothing but helpless. How about 10 million berry? Not very good, goodbye. Luo Qing left without shaking his face. Old John was anxious, and quickly grabbed him, 50 million. This is almost all the working capital I can come up with. There is even a need to sell some real estate, but old John didn't say it. There is no need to talk about less than 500 million. Luo Qing seemed to approve him. After a period of changes in his expression, old John took a deep breath and put his hand in his arms. Even when he was escaping, he did not forget to take the biggest gain of this trip to sea. I don't have 500 million berries, but I can use it to complete this transaction. Talking, old John took out a box from his arms, and then opened it in front of him. Is a devil fruit. And it looks like a superhuman devil fruit. At this moment, Luo Qing's eyes are obviously different when he sees old John. This is simply a super experienced baby who gives benefits to novices. He was worried about where to get the second devil fruit, and the caring courier brother delivered it directly to the door. Must like 5-star praise. Chapter 8. Slippery Fruit. It turned out that old John learned of the whereabouts of the devil fruit by accident, and then went there with a normal business activity in order to cover people's eyes. Unexpectedly, the news was still leaked. He was ambushed by the one-eyed pirates on his way back to the voyage. The guards who paid a lot of money were killed in battle. Finally, he escaped and ran all the way here. The result was abruptly cheaper for Luo Qing. Compared with fate, this devil fruit worth at least 100 million bergs is not so important. If you have money, you must have fate. As for why not find someone to eat it and then kill it? Don't be kidding me, the devil fruit still depends on the user's strength and imagination. Not everyone can hit the fire punch just like Sabo just eats and burns the fruit. Under normal circumstances, it's like Luffy just ate the rubber fruit, and it's hard to control it, let alone exert its power. At this moment, Luo Qing confirmed his identity as the protagonist of the European. Even if he might be beaten to death by the angry Africans, he must keep his European spirit. Although if this devil fruit is sold, it may not reach 500 million bell, but under normal circumstances, money can't buy the devil fruit. He died asking for money first to improve his life after going out, and second to save more money. If he really encounters any devil fruit auction, he can also participate in it. For him who has infinite gloves, of course the more the devil fruit is, the more the better. Even trash ability can be used to strengthen oneself, there is no such thing as waste. When a Krypton player opens the plugin, what else can ordinary players do besides hiding in the corner and shaking? So Luo Qing took the devil fruit without saying a word in old John's sore expression. I'll take this job, and the remuneration will be put in my place in advance, right? No. No. Old John dared to say yes, the big deal is that he has come to the sea this time, and when he returns to the Chamber of Commerce, he will still be the envied Earth Emperor. By the way, what is the power of this devil fruit? Luo Qing knows that someone in this world has compiled a devil fruit illustration book, sorting out the devil fruit that has appeared before, but does not know whether this one is on it or has not been discovered. Originally, he had no hope for this answer, but he did not expect that old John would really give him a surprise, or a horror. After finding this devil fruit, I checked the illustrations and determined that this fruit should be a superhuman slippery fruit. Slippery fruit. Why sounds familiar? I have a big rub. Isn't this the fruit of the ugly fat lady Alrita who was defeated by Luffy turned into a beautiful woman? In terms of effectiveness, especially for women, the effect of this fruit is indeed against the sky. Even such an ugly fat woman has become a 36D beauty with a small waist, which is comparable to the legendary facelift fruit. But I am very happy in terms of combat power. It's no wonder they are in such a desperate situation. Old John never thought about eating this fruit by himself or by finding someone. In addition to the question of whether it can be used, the ability of this fruit is a big problem. Play the whole island as a slide. If these effects comparable to plastic surgery are publicized, it is estimated that women all over the world will be crazy about it. So is this transaction made or lost? This is because the transformation of the flathead brother is too ugly, so he was sent to comfort me. In that era when Yan was both righteous, Luo Qing was still very confident about his appearance. Younger, more golden and handsome, it was almost effortless to raise a sister. But in this era of great pirates, it is true that the strong is the king. If a handsome man is not strong, he can only be taken up by someone or sold to a lady as a slave or something. Shook his head to clear all these mixed thoughts. Luo Qing once again stretched out his hand. Get it? Take what? Old John was dumbfounded. Picture book. On boat. Then go quickly, and wait for me to entertain you for dinner. Resentment. A few minutes later, Luo Qing took these survivors to the beach where they landed before. The blood stains that were not washed away were still clearly visible, and there were countless broken arms and legs. Where is the pirate? I still have to ask about such obvious facts, this IQ is worrying. Luo Qing's discomfort caused by the gap between the heaven and the asterisk just now made his expression look so awkward. The face of the ridiculed young man was flushed red, but he did not dare to refute him. The ability to kill so many pirates would make it easier to kill him. But other people are obviously not so mentally disabled. So far, the biggest crisis has all been resolved, and many people are limp on the ground. Go to a few people to check the condition of the hull. When can I leave? Old John groaned for a while. Read www.uakanshu.com for half an hour. The ship we drove over is no longer good, but fortunately, the ship of the pirate is still in good condition, as long as the resources are integrated. Set off. That's okay, I'll tell the individual. Luo Qing turned around and left, neat and tidy, not afraid that old John would leave him and ran away by himself. Now that there is no combatant on board, touching the Shanghai thief is the life of the food, and good luck cannot always follow them. Old John naturally understands this truth, and hurry up to make preparations for sailing. Luo Qing, who returned to the forest, let out a roar, and once again called these old friends to his side. Da hey, Xiao Bai, Awa Dad is really going to leave this time. You must be obedient in the future. If you are really bored, just play on the ground and roll around. How bad is it to fight and kill? The little monkeys will leave it to you. When I come back, I will be hungry for a month if I lose one. Especially you big black, you Barabara. After half an hour, Dahe nearly collapsed, and the spiral pattern appeared in the eyes of Xiao Bai and Ahua. Luo Qing left contentedly. I don't know when I will come back here again, or he may never come back again, but he will remember this experience for a lifetime. Dot 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 dot. Haiyuanli in 1518, Luo Qing entered the world for the first time on a pirate ship that was stolen. At this time, it has been 20 years since Roger opened the era of great navigation. This year Luffy was 15 years old, and there are still 2 years before he, the worst supernova in the future, will embark on his journey. 2 years later, what kind of amazing changes will take place in the pattern of the whole world? The era of Luo Qing has begun. Chapter 9. Double Fruit Ability. The sun is shining and the sky is clear. This is undoubtedly a beautiful day. There was no interruption from the pirates, and the looted ship sailed smoothly on the sea. Luo Qing was hiding in the room alone, shaking his left hand continuously. Don't get me wrong, I'm not doing that kind of thing, but hesitating whether to embed this slippery fruit on my infinite glove. After much deliberation, Luo Qing decided to use it first. There are better than nothing. Anyway, there are a total of 6 grooves that can be used. Besides, it's not that you can't take it off after you install it. If you encounter a more powerful one, you can use it as a pure energy to strengthen yourself. How do you think this deal is not a loss? Luo Qing will not admit that he is purely curious to what extent he will be beautified by this fruit. So he decisively took the pink and tender, pineapple, and approached the second groove on the infinite glove. There is another crisp bang. The rapidly shrinking slippery fruit is perfectly inlaid on the infinite glove, so Luo Qing has also become the legendary double fruit ability, but the ability is still somewhat weak. But what Luo Qing did not expect was that only 2 devil fruits were inlaid, and the basic energy attached to it began to tear his body. Indeed, infinite gloves can allow users to perfectly use the 6 abilities and even merge with each other, but the premise is that the user has an indestructible body. Think about that every time Thanos puts an infinite gem on the infinite glove, he has to bear twice or even more burden. You have to know that even without infinite gloves and infinite gems, Thanos as a titan is a well-deserved figure of the cosmic hegemon. Except for the real gods, the entire universe is the strongest. It is such a powerful titan who collected 6 infinite gems and snapped his fingers. The infinite glove in his left arm also entered a broken and scrapped state. That is because too powerful energy surpasses the consequences of the user, the carrier. If there is no infinite glove as a buffer, Thanos may be completely shredded by this terrifying energy as soon as he snaps his fingers. Luo Qing also suddenly thought of these things after he felt this energy raging in his body. Although his body has strengthened a lot after more than a year of training and fighting, his body strength in the world of pirates is only several times stronger than that of ordinary navy. This is still the animal devil fruit. The effect can only be achieved with subtle help. But after inlaid with double fruits, his physical strength is completely insufficient. Why do you say that a person can only eat 1 devil fruit at most under normal circumstances, and the second one will explode and die? Curse of shit. The reason is that the human body cannot withstand the energy collision brought by the second devil fruit. That is not an ordinary multiplication, but a geometric multiplication. Luo Qing now feels this kind of pain. Even if the infinite gloves help him weaken more than 90% of the energy damage, the remaining energy is still not what his body can bear now. And not only does it work on the body, he also feels that his spirit is slowly being torn apart. If this goes on, he will die. Luo Qing began to force himself to calm down and think about countermeasures, but the old John and others who were attracted by his screams were also sent away by his roar. In this case, relying on others is useless, you can only rely on yourself. A weak human and various beasts have survived the primitive hunting life of more than a year, how could they fall here? There are so many beauties waiting for him to save. There are so many delicacies waiting for him to taste. There is still such a magnificent landscape waiting for him to enjoy. How can I die here? Luo Qing gritted his teeth and communicated with infinite gloves with difficulty. What can be done with a single thought is extremely difficult at this time when the energy is raging. But in the end, he still relied on his perseverance to contact the infinite gloves, and then instantly activated the flathead brother, and he was still in the form of a beast. Animal devil fruits may have various shortcomings, and their potential is always ranked below the natural and superhuman types. Except for those ancient species, few strong will actively seek animal devil fruits, except those lunatics in Kaido. But it is undeniable that in the enhancement of the physical body, the gains brought by the devil fruits of the animal type are far from the natural type and the superhuman type. And after Luo Qing transformed into a fathead brother, his body's strength and self-healing ability have been greatly increased. The parts torn and damaged by this energy have also begun to be repaired. Tear. Repair. Destruction. Repair. This destructive energy unscrupulously vents his anger. But it is not endless after all. After an hour-long tug of war, Yunmo exhausted all his physical energy and finally polished off this energy. Who has reverted to a human form, is wrapped in foul-smelling sweat and dark blood plasma. As the saying goes, if you don't die, you will have luck. This very destructive energy gradually destroyed his body, but it was repaired by another energy. This is breaking and then standing. After resting for a while, Luo Qing finally recovered a bit of physical strength and stood up. He moved his hands and feet and found that his physical strength had risen by more than one step. The speed and strength have increased significantly, which seems to be 2 to 3 times the previous. The whole person is extremely relaxed, it feels like I can fly. Of course, this is just an illusion. But now is not a good time to study the changes in your body, this Nima is too stinky. He hurriedly opened the door and rushed out. Regardless of the weird eyes of old John and others, he plunged into the sea directly. I didn't need clothes and pants. Luo Qing quickly washed his body, and then boarded the boat again. Mr. Luo Qing, what are you? The screams he made in the room just now really scared old John, especially when he rushed out. That blood-stained body was not fake. Ah, I'm okay. I accidentally injured my body just now. Just go to someone to clean up for me. Luo Qing first changed his clothes casually, and then just made up a few words and got confused. No one is a fool, can exercise a whole body of blood. What a talent. But old John obviously didn't want to care about these trivial matters. The journey was only halfway through, and no one would dare to say whether there would be an accident. It is still very important to have a strong guard. There was only one young man with a bitter look at the corners of his mouth when he saw Luo Qing came up in the water again. Chapter 10. Goa Kingdom. In the next few days, Luo Qing will no longer be bored in the room alone. He began to communicate frequently with old John and others, asking about everything he was interested in. For example, how many years Roger has been dead, what is the current world pattern, what powerful characters have risen, how will the Great Root go, wait. Some old John told him if they knew it, but there was some news that even old John didn't know. After all, this is only the East China Sea, and he is just the president of a middle-level chamber of commerce. How could he know so much about the Great Root and the New World? Even if I know a little bit, I only learned from the news. After some sorting, Luo Qing finally figured out the current timeline and where he was. It is 1518 in the Haiyuan calendar, and it has been 20 years since Roger was executed. In other words, Luffy was only 15 years old at this time, and he had to wait 2 years to go to sea. Luo Qing immediately felt more relieved. What he fears most is that Luffy is now the king of Shanghai thieves, so why did he come? Pay homage to the new generation of One Piece's, stupid look. And the destination of their trip is the Goa Kingdom in the East China Sea, where the headquarters of the Blue Bird Chamber of Commerce is located. Even if Luo Qing has watched all the plots that have been serialized, he can't remember every place named country, and naturally he doesn't know who he will meet on the next journey. Except for a supply halfway through, old John moved forward almost at full speed. When the group of them finally came to the kingdom of Goya, old John finally let go of his mind. When he arrived at his base camp, he no longer had to worry about it, but it was a pity that he had gained this time. Glancing at Luo Qing, who was looking around enthusiastically, old John sighed silently, and forced down the urge to turn his face in his heart. The guy who can subdue so many fierce beasts can't even think about it as an ordinary person. In his bones, he is still a businessman and has his own bottom line. He wouldn't do such a stupid thing as tearing his face without knowing the true strength and identity of the opponent. I don't know what Mr. Luo Qing plans to do next. Do you want to come back to the station with me? Let me thank you for your life-saving grace. Oh, I'm so embarrassed, or let's cash it out. We don't need to be a guest, just leave me an 800,000 berry for me. Luo Qing looked very shy when he said this, and the face that seemed to be getting more and more beautiful attracted the attention of many young girls. Old John almost choked to death in one bite. Why is this guy such a bastard? I have given you devil fruits worth hundreds of millions of bells, even if I ask for money. But since it's already like this, if you don't have a bad relationship, let's get it right. There are still 100,000 Baileys here, so I'll leave it to Mr. Luo Qing to be involved. We will have a period later. After speaking, old John hurriedly took the people away. He was afraid that he would really turn his face if he stayed any longer. Luo Qing hasn't waited to say thank you. These people ran away and disappeared, so they can run. It's no wonder that they can hold on from the pirates for so long. No line is easy. After sighing, Luo Qing went straight to a cute girl who had been staring at him for a long time. Ah, he came over. What to do? What to do? So handsome. Woo, Mom, I seem to be in love. Luo Qing walked in front of her and waved in front of her. Hey, are you okay? Seeing your face is so red, isn't it a fever? I don't show up. Is this an anti-fuck? Luo Qing looked at this cute-looking girl with watery eyes that kept facing him, and was very angry for a while. Why is everyone immersed in my prosperous beauty? Can't you learn more about my inner life? Ah. Little sister, can you tell me about the situation in this country? This is my first time here. People are obviously not young, and they come up and ask them if it is the first time, so annoying. The smile on Luo Qing's face suddenly froze. Please. Sister, what is in your head? Listen to me, hello. Under pressure, Luo Qing turned around and left, but was held by her. Well, do you want to leave? In fact, people can also show off, as long as you like the little brother. Luo Qing looked up at the sky, his figure very bleak. It's the same again, another woman fell under my beauty, alas. Should I cover all my handsome face when I walk on the street in the future? Why am I so handsome? I hate it. Give me your address, and I will find you later. Luo Qing waved his sleeves when he left, and didn't take away a cloud, even his name. After bidding farewell to the nymphomaniac girl, Luo Qing first went to buy a few sets of clothes, and then had a big meal. When he left, he packed a lot, and 100,000 Baileys could not be spent. Walked to a corner of no one, he waved his hand directly into the inner space of the infinite glove. UU reading www.uakanshu.com. Also stored a lot of local specialties that he brought from the island of the beast, such as a lot of delicious fruits and roasted beast meat. Anyway, there is no time passing by, there is no such thing as deterioration. After getting this done, according to the original plan, he was going to find Nami. After all, if you want to go to sea without a good navigator, it is no different than looking for death. And in this respect, Nami is undoubtedly a genius. It's definitely not because Nami is a turbulent big beauty. Luo Qing only spotted her, definitely not. Luo Qing swears with all the morals that fell on the ground. But while eating, Luo Qing suddenly changed his mind when he heard the conversation at the next table. Before going to find Nami, why don't you go meet the future One Piece? Goya Kingdom. Windmill Village. Luffy. Why didn't he think of being together before? Still listening to the junkyard, the windmill village, the bandits, the kid and other information mentioned by the table next door, he suddenly remembered where it was. Luffy is only 15 years old, this wave of forcing Luo Qing not to pretend to just feel uncomfortable. So he went straight to the very famous garbage dump, the taste, the sourness. Ignoring the unexpected and jealous eyes of the scavengers, Luo Qing accelerated through this area and came to a forest. The bandit family responsible for taking care of Luffy and them should live nearby, and the forest should be the secret base where Luffy Esabo has been playing since childhood. But the forest is so big, how to find it? Do not be afraid. Luo Qing directly showed the infinite glove, and then the pink light representing the slippery fruit suddenly brightened. Chapter 11. Slippery. It's floating, I'm proud of floating. Luo Qing, who was roller skating, barefoot on the ground, seemed very comfortable. If he regards sliding fruit as a very fun ability, it seems that he is not so tasteless. During those days on the boat, Luo Qing did not idle either. He researched several ways to use it and some special tricks. Including this trick that existed in the original, slip, tender, spray, shoot. Single quote. Nima is too dirty. So Luo Qing named this trick for himself by, named Saint Hand, beating slippery. Not to mention, it's really easy to use. It saves time and effort. It is also very chic. For Luo Qing, who values appearances very much, the price-performance ratio of this devil fruit is creeping upward. At first, he was reluctant to be early. He has forgotten everything. Is described in 2 words, it is so fragrant. Oh, oh, oh. Why can you slide and move? So handsome. Just as Luo Qing was looking around while performing figure skating, a young man with bright eyes in a straw hat suddenly jumped from a tree. This stupid and silly duo, can't be wrong, it's definitely the protagonist Luffy who has opened up. His father is a naval hero Carp, who once chased Roger One Piece around the world. His dad is the leader of the Revolutionary Army, a big boss who specializes in conquering the world. 2 of his brothers have worshipped, one is the son of One Piece, and will later be the captain and godson of the Whitebeard Pirates, and the other is working for his father and is the chief of the general staff of the revolutionaries. Just this family, can't afford to provoke, can't provoke. Not to mention that from going out to sea, I just walked on the road of no return. Why can't it be defeated? Doesn't exist. If you don't have the domineering, you will win every minute. Ani Road, Chihuahai, 4 Emperors, Denon, Admiral. I'll call you all the way. Before Luo Qing crossed, Luffy had become the 5th Emperor on the sea, referred to as the 5 Emperors. Bounty, 1.5 billion berry. I have to say, at this moment, the young boy who is standing in front of Luo Qing and looking at him with his eyes shining brightly will turn this world upside down in the future. But now, who are you? My name is Luffy, and I will become the man of One Piece in the future. So are you going to be the One Piece or the man of One Piece? Luo Qing wanted to talk about this horrible stub that has been used countless times, but I think Luffy's IQ is definitely not understandable, so let's save the time. One Piece. Do you have this strength? Of course. I'm very strong. Wait until I go to sea to be my partner, Glide Geek. God Nima's, gliding weird. Can you learn from me when you get your name? It's a bit artistic. Luo Qing is upset. You are too weak if you want to be my captain. Luo Qing is very polite. Maybe the future Luffy will be very strong, but now Luffy will let it go. Want to come for a fight? I must let you be my partner. Luffy started to shed blood again. Luo Qing originally came to brush up on his sense of existence, so naturally he would not refuse such a proposal. He likes a pure person like Luffy. He has never stepped back for his ideals, but that is Luffy's ideal and lifestyle, not his. Only like-minded people can come together, obviously they are different. Wait a minute, you can play, but this statement must be settled first. If I lose, I can go to sea with you. What if you lose? If you lose, fight until you win. And I can't lose. Very good, very Luffy's answer. Let's do it. If you lose, you owe me a devil fruit, and you will return it to me when you go out to sea and see me again, how about? With Luffy's character, unless he forgets it, it is impossible for him to fail to keep his promise. A 100% profitable business, Luo Qing's bones are still the blood of profiteers. Devil fruit. Such an unpalatable fruit. Vomit. As soon as he mentioned the devil fruit, Luffy retched. It was the smell that overwhelmed his heart. Deal. If I lose, I will find you a devil fruit when I go to sea, and I must let you be my partner at that time, although I will not lose. Luffy seemed confident. But a few minutes later. Rubber rubber, machine gun. Bang. Luffy was caught by Luo Qing's wrist and hit the ground heavily. Doesn't even need a flathead brother to appear on the stage. What are the characteristics of slippery fruit? Slippery. Zero friction is not a joke. All Luffy's attacks hit Luo Qing's body with only one result, and that is to slide away. Don't say, this ability is very useful for defense. Do you want to fight? Luffy didn't speak, but after getting up from the ground, he rushed towards him again without a word. If he was a person who gave up so easily, how could he rush up again and again when facing so many powerful enemies? It seemed that the only battle that made Luffy feel that his party was impossible to win was in the Chambord Islands and the bears. And he yelled out directly and let everyone run. A very disturbing plot. But appreciation belongs to appreciation. Yu reading www.yuekanshu.com. Luo Qing would not choose to kneel and lick. In fact, he thought that since he appeared in this world, then the protagonist should be him. If he really came to the opposite of Luffy's group, he would not choose to keep his hands at all. So Luo Qing slid away all Luffy's attacks with the ability of sliding fruit cleanly and rushed in front of him, and then raised his right hand wearing infinite gloves high. Knocked him to the ground with a boom. A big hole appeared under Luffy. Luffy was still struggling to get up, but whenever he staggered to stand up, Luo Qing would hammer him to the ground again with no expression. Release water. Show mercy. That was disrespect for this battle and for the opponent. Just after Luo Qing didn't know how many times he defeated Luffy, Luffy finally lost consciousness. It's really troublesome. Luo Qing murmured, leaned over and carried him on his back. Damn, forgot to ask where he lives. Forget it, look for it. When Luo Qing finally found the bandit Dayton's family, it was already dark. Who? Does Luffy live here? Dayton only then saw Luffy carrying the stranger on his back. Who are you? What happened to Luffy? Instead of putting down his vigilance, Dan picked up a side weapon. My name is Luo Qing, please tell him when Luffy wakes up, I will wait for him to fulfill his promise in the new world. That's it. After finished speaking, Luo Qing freely handed the unconscious Luffy to Dan, and then left by himself. So, when we meet again, what kind of surprises will you bring to me? Luffy. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel Chapter 12. Iron Rod, Al Rita. Luo Qing, who woke up at the hotel the next day, always felt that he had forgotten something yesterday. But I can't remember what I forgot. I should have told Luffy what I should say. Did you forget to say sorry to him? I'm sorry, I will intercept your future sailor. Sorry for the fart. It's been 2 years since Nami got on the ship, is there something wrong with him now? The crew who grabs the future Luffy can be called robbing. Just because Luffy is the original protagonist, so people like Nami have to keep it for the future One Piece. That Luo Qing is so cheap. Nothing wrong, let's talk after abduction. So Luo Qing began to inquire all day. Where did he go? What is the name of Nami's village? He just remembers oranges. In desperation, he could only find someone to find out the address of the Blue Bird Chamber of Commerce, and then went to ask Old John for help. Fortunately, Old John's business is really well informed, and he didn't waste much time relying on the information points of Orange, Dragon Pirates, and Murloc to determine where Luo Qing asked. Kokoyashi Village. This is where Nami has struggled for N years and finally was placed by Eren. Inferred from time, Nami seems to be 16 years old now. Beast. Luo Qing suddenly strengthened Lana's idea of getting on the boat. Therefore, under Luo Qing's soft and hard foam, Old John finally couldn't stand his nagging, and promised to arrange a merchant ship for him to Coco West Village, but in exchange, the ***** work was given to him. Up. Luo Qing, of course, patted his chest and said no problem. After he left, a young man quietly left here and came to a dead end, threw something in a hurry and turned his head away. After a while, a stern guy who wrapped himself in a black cloak appeared here, then he picked up the note that the young man had dropped earlier, smiled and left. At night, Luo Qing, who stayed alone in the hotel alone and cold, slapped himself on the head, he finally remembered what he had forgotten. My little beauty. Has your fever been cured? Damn it, why did you forget it? Why don't you go over and take a look now? It should be fine if one day is late, right? Luo Qing thought for a while and still suppressed this tempting idea. Tomorrow he will leave here with the boat. Before leaving, it would be too scumbag to make trouble for others. Luo Qing, who thinks he is innocent, will naturally not do such an angry and grieving thing. In case another plaster is put on before leaving, he can't stand it if he is going to die. Not to mention his purpose this time is to capture a little beauty who is impeccable in every aspect. Well, except for my personality, I'm a bit greedy for money, and occasionally can't control my restless third hand. It's another beautiful and good weather. Set off, set sail. Well, I don't know who to show the spirited look. Anyway, the big girl and the little girl who are passing by have stars in their eyes. He is so handsome, is he wrong? Luo Qing will not admit that a large part of the sensational effect he is causing now comes from the anti-sky effect of the slippery fruit. We are born with the best looks, no problem. The face is still the same, but under the accumulation of countless subtle changes, it looks different. It is jealous not to say that the handsome skin is good. After waiting for the ship to leave the port for a long time, the lost girls were still immersed in Luo Qing's prosperous beauty. There was only one young man who looked bitterly but proudly in the direction he was leaving, then turned and left. The speed of the merchant ship was not fast but not slow. Luo Qing was boring to exercise on the ship. It's a pity that there are some rough guys on the boat. Otherwise, his face and his sturdy bronze muscles will look gleaming under the refraction of sunlight and sweat. I don't know if it will let those young ladies squirt nosebleeds. But just a few hours later, the watchman who was in charge of observing the surroundings suddenly shouted in horror, "Pirate! There is a pirate! How long has it been?" Just after driving out, when I met a pirate. Luo Qing walked directly to the side of the ship and looked at them. Sure enough, a ship with a pirate flag was approaching them from the side at the fastest speed. It's definitely impossible to run this distance. How could the merchant ship loaded in order to achieve the maximum profit run past a speed-driven pirate ship? Look at that banner, can you tell which group of pirates is? Luo Qing grabbed a crew member and asked. Although I know that in the East China Sea, there should be no enemies he can't deal with at the moment, but I am afraid of accidents in everything. There are so many pirates in this world, maybe one day I will encounter a freak with strong strength and little reward. And the power of the devil fruit is strange, think about the power of sugar. If this is accidentally planted, I regret that there is nowhere to buy the medicine. The crew member he was holding was very horrified and shouted, "That is the Alrita pirates." The female pirate, Iron Rod, Alrita, who is offering a reward of 5 million bell. After seeing the pink heart-shaped pirate flag, many people immediately recognized it. After all, in the current East China Sea, Yu reading www.yuekanshu.com offers over tens of millions of rewards, then they are all incredible big shots. For example, the current overlord of the East China Sea, Click, known as the Admiral, is the Great Pirate, who has just been promoted and has offered a reward of 17 million. Although Iron Rod, Yalita only has a bounty of 5 million, for ordinary crew members like them, the sky has fallen. After listening to the crew's horrified explanation, Luo Qing fell into deep thought. What should he say about such a weak, novice village? Speaking of it, it seems that whether it is Aaron, the Murloc who has a bounty of up to 20 million, or the pirate who died of fraud a few years ago, Clo is much better than the Creek of the Sorrow. Right. The East China Sea, where so many big names have emerged, has actually fallen to the point where only weak chickens like Crick dominate. Should we thank the Navy for its special care to the East China Sea in previous years? Just when everyone was still struggling to escape, Luo Qing finally ended his contemplation. You don't have to run away, just come by. But no need, but I can solve these three-legged cats alone, otherwise you think how your boss came back alive. It's still being questioned about the strength to deal with this kind of stuff, and it's too embarrassing for the traveler. Seeing that Luo Qing was so confident, and he really couldn't escape, so the captain directly gritted his teeth and decided to fight the pirates. As the two boats got closer, Luo Qing finally saw the person standing on the boat. Then he was a little dazed. This Nima is also a coincidence. This fat woman with a pocky face and holding a mace is not the one who was beaten by Luffy as soon as he appeared. Chapter 13. Really poor. Luo Qing was still wondering why he would be familiar with a weak chicken offering a reward of 5 million Bailey. Now I finally understand that the fat woman who got the slippery fruit and turned into a big beauty after being beaten by Luffy is called Yalrita. This is because I knew that I had robbed her in advance of her beautiful facelift artifact. So did you come to the house to settle the account? Who is the most beautiful woman in this sea? Of course it is Captain Alrita. Vomit. Is getting closer, and I can hear what the other party says on the ship, but Luo Qing would rather not hear clearly. Yerita was very happy at first, but was attracted by Luo Qing who was retching on the fat sheep boat. Very well, you are still the first person who dares to laugh at my Alrita. But looking at your face that can match my beauty, I will give you a chance. Be my man, or die. Did you die? A big flower. You go to die first. Luo Qing was angry all of a sudden. Didn't even wait for the opponent to start, he jumped onto the opposite ship. Being made up by such a disgusting fat woman, Luo Qing felt that his stomach was tumbling, and everything he ate last month was about to vomit out. Little ones, take him for me. Pay attention, don't hurt your face. Vomit. Luo Qing almost vomited again. For the sake of his poor stomach, Luo Qing decided to stop talking nonsense with her. With a thought, the precious infinity glove appeared on his right hand, and then the black and white light suddenly lit up. Luo Qing directly opened the human beast form of the honey badger fruit. The black hard fur covered his limbs, but his hair became pure white. The 10-centimeter long claws grew rapidly from the tips of his fingers, and even the teeth in his mouth turned into beast-like fangs. The biggest advantage after having slippery fruit is that even after transforming, it is not so ugly, which makes Luo Qing feel very dark. Anyone with devil fruit ability. Fat woman Yalrita and her men were shocked, even those with the ability to trash cannot be dealt with by ordinary people. But the change of Luo Qingren's animal form gave them a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it was just the devil fruit of the animal system. But the next crazy killing by Luo Qing is to let their luck disappear. The sharp claws cut through their bodies as easily as they were cutting tofu, and the stumps and broken arms were everywhere. Anyone who stands in front of him is either dead or injured. And their tattered weapons were cut on Luo Qing's body, but they were blocked by the thick fur, they couldn't even leave a mark. Luo Qing is not a bloodthirsty person, but killing these villains will not arouse the mercy and compassion in his heart. Thank you for the life of hunting and being hunted for more than a year, so that he has a real understanding of what is called the weak and the strong. In this world, only when you can't beat the opponent, will you try to make sense. Take a look at what kind of extravagant life the Tianlong people who hold the authority of the whole world live, and then take a look at what kind of distress the people at the bottom are in. Luo Qing doesn't want others to dominate his own destiny, nor does he want to live a life of promise, let alone be a dog for others. So he must have enough strength, so powerful that neither the four emperors nor the admiral dare to offend him easily. When he has the strength to push the world equally, what a bullshit, what 100 years of historical truth. Does really matter. At that time, there will only be one voice in the world, and that is his Luo Qing's voice. If he has infinite gloves, if he doesn't even dare to have this idea, then he should find a safe place to be a bug for a lifetime. Dead. When Luo Qing came back to his senses, his sharp claws had already crossed Alrita's neck, and he cut into two pieces with the mace. At this point, the Alrita pirates are all destroyed, and there is no one left. Big, sir. Luo Qing has already solved everyone, and the captain dared to bring people over. It's not that they really didn't have the courage to desperately, but they didn't need it. They watched in amazement behind the whole battle. This was a unilateral massacre at all. Yalrita, who offered a reward of 5 million berry, was cut off from the captain of their guard after walking in the hands of the captain of the guard. Where did their president of this level bring it back from? Clean up. Everything on this ship is my trophy, right? This is natural. This 5 million berry first will be sent to you after it is processed. Luo Qing nodded with satisfaction. After this killing, his heart's ability to withstand it has become stronger. It is estimated that a few more battles like this will not make him feel uncomfortable anymore. After half an hour, Luo Qing looked helpless at this treasure in front of him. I searched the whole ship and turned out such a little thing, which is worth 1 million berry together. It's really poor. So Luo Qing was very generous. Yu read www.yuakanshu.com and hugged it in front of him, which looked more valuable and pleasing to the eye. Trip. The crew immediately happily divided up the remaining things that Luo Qing didn't like. When they went back, they sold them for less than 2 or 3 million yuan, and they made a lot of money. By the way, Lord Luo Qing, we found this guy from the cabin. He is sneaky and he is not a good person. Do you want to chop it together? No. Don't kill me. I'm not a pirate. I was caught too. A little dwarf with pink hair and glasses had tears and snot flowed out at the same time, so embarrassed. Tell me, what's the matter? If it's true, let you go. If you lie to me, just throw it down and feed the fish. Unknowingly, Luo Qing has become the principal of this ship, and even the captain listens to him. This is the aftermath of the battle just now. My name is Kirby. As Kirby pours out his own experience, Luo Qing finally figured out who he was. It's just that he didn't expect it, or maybe he forgot. It turns out that Kirby was caught by Alrita 2 years before Luffy went out to sea, this hapless boy. This product still has a little potential. After being rescued by Luffy, he went to be a navy. He was really called out by him, and even learned the 6 poses. For an innocent victim like him, who has no conflict of interest with him, Luo Qing will naturally not harm him. Okay, I see, what does a big man cry like? You will do your own job, handyman, in the past few days, and let you leave when you are in a safe place. Chapter 14. Kirby is the protagonist. Luo Qing was ready to go back to rest after arranging Kirby, but was stopped by the captain. Master Luo Qing believes what the kid said. Do you think he can be a cruel pirate if he is so timid? That's true, but I still want to interrogate him. We just left the protected area of the Goya Kingdom and ran into the pirates. To say that this is a coincidence, it would be a fake. Hearing what he said, Luo Qing also felt that something was wrong. It seemed that Alrita had been waiting for them to join the net early. Okay, but just ask, don't frighten the kid, I don't think he looks like a bad guy. Of course. Anything else? Seeing that he seemed to have something to say, Luo Qing simply pointed it out. Say something quickly, I'm still waiting to take a bath. I don't know what Master Luo Qing is going to do with the captured ship. Luo Qing was taken aback, he had never thought about this issue. Keep it. It seems that there is nothing wrong with it. If you want to go to sea, you must first have a boat. The things that are delivered to the door don't need to be used in vain. Just thinking that the boat was used by the disgusting fat woman, he didn't really want it sold. Is also a good way, plus that 5 million head, it should be able to buy a new boat. What are your thoughts? Since he rushed to ask about this, he naturally proved that he had a plan. If Luo Qing still can't see this, he should just jump into the sea. If you want to sell, I can handle it for you, and only a small intermediary fee is required in the middle, which is absolutely guaranteed to sell at a good price. If you want to keep it, it's okay. Someone in my family has opened a ship repairing yard. Renovation and decoration can be done, and I promise to give adults the biggest discount. After finished speaking, the captain smiled embarrassedly. How much can I sell if I sell it? Luo Qing also became interested. As for his own benefit, Luo Qing does not see anything wrong with it. Win-win is the most appropriate way of trading. I just took a brief look. The overall hull is well maintained and clean. It looks like it has just been acquired, but because it is a used second-hand boat and used by a pirate, it can only be sold at most between 8 and 9 million berries. Luo Qing nodded after hearing what he said. This is already a windfall. Originally, he thought that the bounty was the big head, but he didn't expect that the real big head was the ship. It is estimated that Alrita should have used all the treasures robbed over the years to buy this ship, so she appeared so poor. Keep it here for now, and I'll talk about it later. Then shall we return to sail first, or continue to set off? How troublesome it is to go back, burn the pirate flag, and the 2 ships will go together. Luo Qing gave the order directly, but the captain was not dissatisfied, not only because Luo Qing saved them all, but also because of the powerful strength he showed. This is the route. After returning to the room, Luo Qing directly put the treasure and the box containing the head into the inner space of the infinite glove, and then hummed a small song to take a bath. He was more and more looking forward to the next journey. The next day, Luo Qing lay on the old chair with his upper body naked and watched the sun. Not far away is the busy figure of Kirby, who is wiping the deck hard. After only a day of work, all the crew fell in love with this hard-working boy who knew how to find work. And those crew members who have been idle because of this also have more relaxing time to gather together to drink and play cards. It is so lively. My lord, what should I do with that matter? The figure of captain did not know when he came to Luo Qing's side. Isn't there a phone bug? Send a letter to old John. Whoever believes in the ghost should check out. Otherwise, I really have to wonder how he made such a big chamber of commerce from scratch. The captain nodded in response, and then turned around to communicate with the chairman. This so-called inner ghost was asked by the captain from Kirby yesterday. Although Kirby is strictly a prisoner and handyman, Yerida never bothered to speak and do things behind him. May also be able to see how coward-like Kirby can't escape his control, that's why he looks so mad. So Kirby, a handyman who is not a pirate, learned a lot of news, including this ambush. It was someone who found the Alrida pirates, and gave the specific time and route to go to sea, so the Alrida pirates can wait here in advance to intercept them so accurately. Thinking about the last time that old John also, accidentally, leaked the news, he was almost thrown into the sea by the pirates to feed the fish. To say that old John had no doubt about this, Luo Qing did not believe it anyway. In addition to this incident, old John will definitely give him an explanation after he goes back. When a businessman becomes cruel, he is far more terrifying than a pirate. Kirby. What do you want to drink? Wine or juice? I will prepare it right away. A pink-haired kid immediately appeared next to Luo Qing, holding a rag for cleaning the deck. Apart from his personality flaws, Luo Qing still appreciates Kirby. Yu reading www.uakanshu.com at least has no low EQ, knows how to please others and flatter, and he works hard and earnestly. Otherwise, how did he survive a group of pirates, and if it wasn't for Luo Qing's appearance this time, he would have to stay in the pirate group for 2 years. What a special lady is a talent. And there is one most important thing. When Luffy and Kirby met, Kirby was less than 10 years old, but he was as tall as Luffy before 1 year. Kirby will grow into a Navy colonel in 2 years. So how good is the Navy food? How good is Carp's education? Or is Kirby actually the protagonist in Pirate World? After all, when Luffy was 19 years old, Kirby was just in his early 10, so he was already a colonel. Maybe they are even better than the original Blue Pheasant Red Dogs. And there is no fruit bonus. So the future admiral or even the admiral might be this kid. How old are you? 7 years old. Kirby answered honestly, while Luo Qing was speechless. Kebi, I ask you, do you have a dream? Luo Qing forced himself to be serious. In fact, his heart was depressed and terribly depressed, and it was not a good selection site. But people in this world really eat this set. Kebi immediately saluted with excitement, my dream is to become a just navy. Haha. In fact, the navy does not necessarily represent justice, and to be a partner of justice does not necessarily have to be a navy. Luo Qing started the brainwashing method. Chapter 15. Arrive at Kokoyasi village. The future 11-year-old Navy Dazuo colonel is still a short stature, puffy physique, cowardly, timid and clumsy, and he has no friends. Luo Qing thinks that such a good seedling, if he doesn't abduct it, what a pity. What a navy. How promising is the handyman. Ahem. Luo Qing meant that he could also train Kirby. Even without the Navy's food and Carp's love and Iron Fist education, it would be impossible to train Kirby for 2 more years. Just drop him in his hand. When I am fighting with someone in the future, I will pike up, and after winning the battle, he will say faintly, I can't even beat the handyman on board, you can judge yourself. This forced grid went up all at once. Thinking of this, Luo Qing's expression when looking at Kirby became more and more strange. My lord, I don't quite understand what you mean. Kirby lowered his head in a resolute manner. You are still young, and you have never seen many dark sides in this world, so I think the Navy must be just, but it is not. So next I will let you see with your own eyes how dirty the dark side of the Navy is. If you are still determined to become a Navy after this, I will personally send you there. If you understand your inner heart and want to insist on justice instead of just becoming a Navy, I will personally train you so that you have enough strength to maintain the justice in your heart. Made. Luo Qing said that he was already in the play, always feeling that he was instilling the concept of a justice partner in Kebi. Will not be so unlucky. One day Kirby will scream justice to remove his evil. That would be embarrassing. Kirby hasn't had a friend in these years, and no one can look down on him who is weak. Luo Qing is the first person to take him seriously. Kebi seems very excited. If he can learn from such a strong person, it seems to be a good choice. But before he gave up on the Navy, his true ideal was to become a Navy that upholds justice. Thank you, my lord. I will use my eyes to record everything that follows. No matter what the final result is, I will remember the kindness that rescued me from the pirate for my whole life. Seeing that his brainwashing had been somewhat effective, Luo Qing nodded with satisfaction. Okay, Let's go to work. By the way, help me make a cocktail and bring it out. Yes. Watching Kirby leave full of enthusiasm, Luo Qing wondered if he was a bit unkind in doing this. After all, if he does not care about him, his achievements in the future will be limitless, but his future is unknown. Forget it, leave him alone. Anyway, at the moment he destroyed the Alrata pirates and rescued Kirby, his life has changed. In the future, whether he can meet Luffy and whether he can join the Navy smoothly are still two things. One more thing, as a traverser with golden fingers, if you can't even train a Kirby, it's too useless. He is the one who wants to stand on top of this world and snap his fingers. All of a sudden, Luo Qing was full of infinite confidence in himself. A few days later, the two ships finally arrived at Cocoa West Village, which is rich in oranges. After paying the so-called taxes to several murlocs, their talents were able to go ashore for normal commercial trade. After all, a village needs a variety of things to live a normal life, and merchants are naturally indispensable. In this regard, Aaron did not kill chickens to get eggs. Instead, after charging a certain fee, he allowed people and merchants in the village to exchange for daily necessities. However, it is also limited to daily necessities. If it is a valuable item, the dragon pirates will not mind directly starting. As for weapons, even if someone dares to sell, do they dare to buy? Before I came here, the Blue Bird Chamber of Commerce had already listened to the news in this regard, so they brought ordinary daily necessities, pots and pans, salted vegetables and meat. Although this trip may not make a lot of money, but in order to make Luo Qing well, Old John can be regarded as benevolent. After they went ashore, many civilians came to inquire about the situation, and when they learned that they were merchants who had come to seek a deal, all of them showed joy. Since this place was occupied by the dragon pirates 6 years ago, more and more merchants have been reluctant to come here. After all, pirates and merchants are born on opposite sides. God knows if they will be swallowed directly after coming here. It's not impossible that Luck will almost lose a small life. Another one is how they have any purchasing power under the exploitation of the dragon pirates. The only specialty is oranges. But even the most delicious orange is an orange. Pull a ship of oranges back to sell. So over time, no merchants are willing to come over again. Loss-making transactions where risks and returns are not proportional are not something a shrewd businessman would do. The villagers who lacked daily necessities and survival necessities such as salt had to spend sky-high prices to buy from the dragon pirates. The more they buy, the poorer they are, and the poorer they are, the less they can afford to buy things. A vicious circle was born. Reading www.uakanshu.com. Under Aaron's rule these years, Coco Yaxi village did not know how many people died. Nami's adoptive mother Burmal is definitely not the only victim. Fortunately, there is the only one who can move freely, Nami, who often brings something back, otherwise more people will die. During the transaction, Luo Qing asked a few things and felt that he did not make a mistake this time. A wicked person like Aaron doesn't need sympathy or whitewash. We have no money, can we exchange it with other things, please, we really need salt. A woman with a child is holding onto the first mate's hand with a pleading look, and the first mate is also embarrassed. After all, sympathy, sympathy and sympathy, he said nothing. If the president is not satisfied after returning, he is going to be unlucky. Luo Qing came over at this time. We accept the exchange of goods, not just you, everyone can. The villagers immediately looked at him with surprise eyes, and even the captain and the first officer looked at him with hesitant eyes. Really? Can you exchange oranges? I will use 100 caddies of oranges for 1 caddy, no. Can half a caddy of salt work? They don't have much else here, just oranges, and, very sweet. Anyway, Luo Qing came here this time to get rid of the malignant tumor of the dragon pirate group, and then abducted Xiaonami. It would be a good choice to be able to brush her impressions at this time. So the next thing became happy. P.S. The contract has been sent out, please feel free to read it. Please also ask for a recommendation ticket and collection. New books need this data too much. If there is a book list, it would be better. I will trouble you. Chapter 16. Reciprocal acting. Facing Luo Qing's kind deeds, the villagers were very grateful, but Kirby was busy working harder. At this moment, he firmly believed that Lord Luo Qing who rescued him must be a good person. My lord, it's not so bad. If you just go back like this, you will lose out. The captain pulled Luo Qing aside and muttered quietly. Don't worry, I'll go to old John's side and tell me that all the responsibilities are pushed on me, and who said we just went back like this. Luo Qing looked at a girl with orange hair coming here not far away, and said pointedly. Who are you? Nami's vigilant eyes are undisguised. At this stage, she is undoubtedly the most distrustful or even hateful time for outsiders. In her eyes, every outsider may become Aaron's people. Persecute them like that. Don't be like this, Nami. They are merchants from the kingdom of Goya, who brought us urgently needed supplies and allowed us to exchange oranges. They are all good people, different from those of Aaron. A beautiful blue-haired beauty pulled Nami who was like a fried cat. Nuao, is it true? Don't be fooled by these people. How can a cunning businessman be so kind? There must be a conspiracy in it. And it's not weird that they said they came from the kingdom of Goya. There are not many merchants in our place who are willing to come all year round, but they come straight here. Although Nuao is her older sister in her age, Nami, who was forced to join the dragon pirates to travel north and south at the age of 10, is undoubtedly richer in social experience. She can see the nuances in it at a glance. Merchants are all looking for money. Why would a merchant ship from the Goa kingdom come here at no cost and give them so many discounts? To say that there is nothing to ask for, it is not too questioning her IQ. After listening to Nami's words, Nuao also hesitated, wondering if there is really any conspiracy in it. These people will not be in collusion with the evil dragon pirate group and they want to do something against them, villagers. But these may be speculations without the slightest evidence after all. More and more villagers have come from their homes, and everyone is carrying more or less oranges with a joyful expression on their faces. Can be self-reliant, do not cause trouble to Nami, let alone go to the dragon pirates to buy sky-high prices, can these villagers be unhappy? Who is in charge of you here? Nami walked over, her watchful and suspicious look in her eyes grew stronger. The captain's chief mate and others looked at each other, and Chi stepped back to highlight Luo Qing's status. This impression is not easy to brush. Luo Qing sighed lightly in his heart, and said, I am. Nami has noticed him a long time ago, is there such a handsome businessman as a seaman? Your skin is still so good. Are there any traces of wind and sun? Lie to ghosts. At first glance, the eldest and young master of which family ran out to play, if it is determined that they are not malicious, this, little white face, is a big fat sheep. Nami's eyes flashed and there was a little more smile on her face, and the tense atmosphere just now disappeared. Man, do you want to have a drink together? Visit this island by the way. Nami, who identified Luo Qing as a fat sheep, was a wink. Only 16 years old, Nami has already turned into a little beauty. The place that should be big is big, the place that should be thin is thin, and the dress is also very wild. Her waist and her slender legs are all exposed outside. Dong dong. Those young lads and crew members felt this kind of irritation, swallowed altogether, and then looked at Luo Qing with envy. Humph. The charm of this lady cannot be stopped by ordinary people. It is also true that when she first joined the dragon pirates, she was still young and could only rely on petty theft, but as she grew older, she became more and more beautiful and was able to skillfully use her own advantages. Nami used the beauty scheme to slaughter the fat sheep, that I don't know how many bait. The treasure she has accumulated is getting closer and closer to the 100 million berry mark. Soon, I will be able to buy the village soon. The shyness and charm on Nami's face are too lethal for a man. But Luo Qing, who knew Nami's character a long time ago, didn't feel anything unexpectedly, just watched her performance with a smile. Okay. Got the bait. Nami's mouth curled up with a nice arc, and at the same time, the back of her right hand gave Nuoji Gobi an, okay, gesture. Nuao Qigao has the intention to stop her, but to be honest, she does not have this position. After so many years, the hope of the whole village has fallen on Nami alone. They usually accept Nami's support while still being firm. Draw a line with her. They really can't ask for more, even if that lively and cheerful little girl has become a pirate cadre who has been kidnapped. The real feeling in their hearts is guilt instead of disgust and preaching to her. They are not qualified. Yu read www.uakanshu.com. After handing over all the subsequent transactions to the captain and the others, Luo Qing was taken away by Nami, who suddenly posted it with her arm. I have to say that this soft touch is really good. Especially the bold shyness that Nami deliberately pretended to be a big illusion in life. She likes me. Nami, who has slaughtered so many triumphs and slaughtered so many fat sheep, knows too well what kind of relative expressions and attitudes she should make when dealing with men of different ages. She gave full marks to her performance just now, not afraid of being proud. The takoyaki in this shop is very famous, and the wine is also very good. That is, every time people drink a little bit more, they will get drunk. How can I turn a blind eye to the one who should cooperate with you? It's here. Luo Qing's eyes lit up immediately, and then quietly scanned several sensitive spots on Nami's body, and all this was seen by Nami, who was very shy. At this moment, the two pregnant women walked in very intimately. As soon as the two of them entered, they attracted the attention of the murlocs inside, but when they saw that it was Nami, all the murlocs showed a playful look on their faces. It seems that this hapless kid is Nami's new prey. Don't be afraid, these murlocs are very kind. Nami gave up the courage, and looked at his expression quietly. Kindness. Are you sure? Luo Qing looked at her eyes seriously and asked. I don't know why Nami suddenly felt a little flustered in her heart. How could these murlocs be kind? But for the 100 million Baileys, in order to buy back the village, she can only compromise her conscience. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel Chapter 17. Nightmare, time to go. Looking at those clear and serious eyes, for a moment, Nami wanted to take him out of here. But she is already riding a tiger, so she will leave him some money to go home after a while. What to eat? Octopus Xiao Ba asked with a smile. Isn't it said that the takoyaki here is very famous? Just come to this one, and bring you the best wine here. Luo Qing looked like I'm stupid and quick to make money, which made the murlocs around drinking secretly laugh. Although Nami did not get an answer, he already understood her feelings. Evil dragon pirates will be removed today. Takoyaki gave him a eye-sighted look, and happily started making takoyaki. By the way, I don't know what your name is. After a very lady's sip of alcohol, Nami immediately simulated the shy state of being overwhelmed with alcohol. She is a born actor. My name is Luo Qing, how about you? Luo Qing took a big sip and it tasted really good. My name is Nami and I am a villager here, but I have always yearned for the outside life. Can you tell me your story? I want to know you better. It seemed like she had drunk too much. Nami suddenly approached his face, exhaling Oran and said in his ear. Is such a terrifying little fairy. Even though she knew all this was Nami pretending in her heart, the itchy sensation in her ears really made Luo Qing miss a beat. So Luo Qing also began to show off his acting skills, like a 200 and 500 who is eager to prove to a woman how powerful and rich he is. To tell you the truth, this little thing I brought up can be given to you for nothing. This time our real gains are all on the boat. Luo Qing asked for another big glass of beer, and shouted excitedly. It's worth more than 10 million Baileys if you say less. If you want to see the outside world, I can take you there. Not good. Nami was first happy when she heard that there were more than 10 million worth of goods on his ship, and then she was extremely upset. As expected, the fish people around who had been watching the show immediately stopped talking and then looked at each other a few times. Nami also noticed that a murloc near the door pushed the door directly and left here. Don't even think about it, know that it was to inform Aaron. You must know that Aaron's bounty is only 20 million berries. Although this number is completely inconsistent with his real strength, it also proves what it means to be more than 10 million berries in the East China Sea. Nami smiled reluctantly. I want to visit your boat, can I? If Aaron makes a move, she will be fine, so she wants to get the treasure first before Aaron makes a move. Yes, you will have time to visit in the future. I stopped drinking the wine, and I stopped eating the takoyaki. Luo Qing just threw a piece of gold as if to stimulate these murlocs. The atmosphere has become even weirder, and the silence makes people panic. Just when Nami was pulling his arm to leave, Xiaoba suddenly stopped them. Where are you going? Pay the bill before leaving. Didn't you have given money already? Nami's face turned very ugly. What is enough money for? Chengwei 20 million baili. Don't think about leaving if you can't pay. The sharp knife held by the octopus on the arm of Xiaobaduo swung threateningly a few times. Don't go too far. I'm also a cadre. Ha ha ha. You can keep that with Aaron boss. Xiao Ba said disdainfully. Nami's momentum fell down all of a sudden. Aaron was her nightmare, and she was a good tool in front of Aaron. Seeing this scene, all the Murlocs including Xiao Ba laughed wildly. This kind of feeling that I have made it clear to bully you, you still dare not resist, it is really cool. Especially used to deal with their most annoying humans. Listening to the harsh laughter, Nami's body couldn't help shaking. At this moment, a warm and strong embrace held her tightly in his arms. Your nightmare will be over in a while, are you ready for a new life? Actually, I forgot to tell you. I am a pirate hunter. Aaron's 20 million berry head is about to be ordered. Just wait for me, I haven't seen you look drunk yet. After speaking, regardless of Nami's extremely surprised eyes, Luo Qing let go of Nami and instantly revealed the infinite gloves, and then activated the honey badger fruit's human beast form. Although he is not sure whether this appearance will reduce his impression score, in order to get rid of these Murlocs as soon as possible, Luo Qing still feels that there should be no impact. But what he didn't know was that Nami's focus was not on the fur and paws that he suddenly grew out of. Nami thought, this guy is really rich. This glove is made of pure gold. Ah. Luo Qing, who had no knowledge of Nami's thoughts, directly attacked after transforming. These Murlocs thought they had caught a fat sheep, but they didn't expect that what was hidden behind the fat sheep's mask was a sickle of death. When along came here with someone, his face suddenly changed. It's so bloody, something happened. Before he could go in and check, a figure slammed through the wall and flew out. Is the octopus Xiaohachi with scars all over his body without a few arms. Evil. Devil fruit. Ability, very strong. Only finished the sentence intermittently. Yu reading www.yuakanshu.com. Xiao Ba was unwilling to breathe. When he persecuted humans with Aaron, he should have thought of this day. Along grinned open his mouth in anger, and the chilling fangs aimed at Luo Qing and Nami who had just walked out. Nah. Beautiful. You. Very. Good. Along gritted his teeth and said every word. Dare to bring a helper. I will come to you to have a good chat after I cut this guy up. Aaron directly took his helper and hugged him. As a former member of the Pirates of the Sun, he knew the difficulties of those with devil fruit ability. If it was on the sea, then it would be the world of their Murlocs, and it was a demon who could not swim. The natural enemy of those with fruit ability. But the advantage of being a Murloc on land is not so obvious. Looking at the hopeful Nami, Luo Qing said with a smile, get the wine ready, you don't have to worry about it anymore after today. Aaron is not an ordinary Murloc, he is very strong, you have to be careful. Regardless of whether Luo Qing can kill Aaron or not, at the moment Nami has to gamble on him. After winning the bet, the nightmare disappeared, and the bet was lost. How bad can it go? P.S. I posted a post about the ability of devil fruit in the book review, and then found that my friends using the mobile client could not see it. I tried it. I had to click into the book review and switch the all in the upper right corner to essence, then you can see. Do you have any special thoughts on how to operate? For example, transparent fruit plus door fruit can produce hee effect. Or if you have a good opinion, you can leave me a message, and I will draw inspiration from it from time to time. Finally, ask for collection, ask for recommendation, ask for book list. Chapter 18. Nami is drunk. As the pirate with the highest bounty in the East China Sea, Aaron naturally has his own pride. As a serrated shark man, he is a weapon. The jagged nose, the steel-like bones, the strength to lift the house, the teeth that can be regenerated continuously, and the powerful jaw, with the bite power to bite off a cannonball in one bite. There is also the water hit attack commonly used by the strong Murlocs, which can hit ordinary water droplets as bullets. The 20 million reward is not high but low. Compared to the Crick who had accumulated 17 million bounties by burning, killing, looting, and plundering, he didn't know how much better it was. But these things are not enough to see in front of Luo Qing. Luo Qing, who has become a flat-headed brother, raised his right hand again, and this time the pink light that symbolizes slippery fruit also shines. This is what Luo Qing mastered after his 9 deaths. Only in this state can he truly be called a double fruit ability person. Honey badger fruit plus slippery fruit. In fact, this time he turned into a beast form as the strongest state in theory, but that appearance is too ugly, Luo Qing decisively passed. This mode is enough for him. Kai slippery. When Luo Qing's friction force under his feet is zero and he can move freely, even if his instantaneous burst speed is not as good as the shave in the 6 formulas, it is definitely the same. Because he eliminates not only the friction on the ground, but also the air. And in this state, Luo Qing can also change the direction of movement at will, which is extremely flexible. Shua. Ha. Ha. Along and others couldn't catch his shadow at all, and every time Luo Qing appeared in front of them, he could cleanly take away a life. It looks far away, it looks like Luo Qing has surrounded the entire dragon and pirate group alone. The blood fell drop by drop, Aaron panted heavily, just an oversight, Luo Qing who suddenly appeared in front of him left 5 long and deep wounds on his chest. If it wasn't for him to hide in time, if it wasn't for his murloc skin that was hard enough, then it would be able to break his stomach. Asshole. Don't run around if you can. The extremely aggrieved Aaron couldn't help but yelled. In this short period of time, the people he brought were almost killed. The same was true for a few cadres. They fell to the ground without knowing their life or death without being able to walk in Luo Qing's hands. Along's eyes flashed ruthlessly, if he didn't do anything, he would really be planted here. Then spread his arms to protect his vitals, and rushed out with full power. The target is Nami who is hiding in the distance to observe the battle. Seeing Aaron rushing towards her, Nami turned around and ran away without saying a word. At this time, she had already determined that Aaron was absolutely dead. The handsome man who claimed to be a pirate hunter was powerful and had been slinging Aaron all the way. She was not stupid enough to be held hostage by Aaron. Seeing Nami turned around and ran, Aaron, who had a bone-deep wound on his back, directly hit the pool in front of him with all his strength. Hit the water. Numerous water droplets were given powerful kinetic energy, and they were shot at Nami who was escaping quickly like bullets in the sky. There was a dense burst of air, and Nami only had time to look back and was overwhelmed by endless panic. But in the next second, the pain and death expected did not come. She opened her eyes hard and saw that the pirate hunter who was regarded as a fat sheep opened her arms in front of her. Are you okay? After being rescued by him again, Nami's mood was very complicated, but she did not expect that she would still drag him in the end. Hide away, this guy is dead. Along has lost the idea of fighting again, he turned and ran. I thought that even if the trick just now couldn't kill him, it could seriously injure him, but I didn't expect that the water drop that could tear the human body would slip the moment it touched his body. Isn't he an animal-capable person? What is the trick of sliding around on the ground and just sliding off his attack directly? But he doesn't want to fight anymore. It doesn't mean that Luo Qing will let him go. This asterisk is really a trick, but fortunately he was prepared, otherwise his future navigator will have some shortcomings. If he chopped up this asterisk and fed the dog, he would not give up his hatred. Zhao on darts. Such a second name is due to the way he shouts. Facing Aaron who was ramming over, Luo Qing only slightly lowered his chest, and his pointed nose slipped over his body without causing any harm. Then Luo Qing raised his right hand and slammed it down. The sharp claws wrapped in the infinite gloves directly pierced Aaron's spine, thrusting him on the ground and unable to move anymore. Along spouted a big mouthful of blood, he knew he was done. Why, you can slide away my attack. A person with double fruit ability understand. Luo Qing whispered to him in a very wicked and funny way, and then cut off his fish head directly with the knife. Along's head rolled on the ground and an incredible shocked expression was vaguely visible. After beheading Aaron, Yu reading www.yuakanshu.com Luo Qing quickly lifted this superimposed state and returned to his normal appearance. It's been so tired after only a few minutes, and I will be squeezed dry in less than a second when the fruit grows more. Luo Qing felt helpless because of his sharp decline in physical strength. It seems that in the future, using the devil fruit to strengthen one's own Krypton prodigal method should be tried often, otherwise, let alone snap your fingers, you will explode first. Luo Qing picked up Along's valuable head and walked towards Nami, who was running here, and the villagers and his crew who were attracted by the sound of fighting. You really did it. Nami looked at Aaron's head, hatred, anger, disbelief, relief, and so on. Complicated moods poured out. I have done what I said. The Dragon Pirate Group has been completely wiped out by me. The wealth that the Dragon Pirate Group has squeezed and looted over the years should be stored in it. It is up to you how to return it to the original owner. Nami. How stupid it is to turn your face with Nami for this little money. Luo Qing knew that his only purpose was to abduct this extremely seductive genius navigator, and the others were not in a hurry. After finished speaking, Luo Qing left with a very free and easy manner in the respected eyes of the villagers. After he left, I didn't know what Nami said, and the cheers of the villagers resounded throughout the island. In the evening, all the drinks were taken to the square, and the villagers started the carnival. And Nami also followed her promise. She finally drunk after drinking more than a dozen barrels of wine in the eyes of everyone with horror. However, Luo Qing didn't take this opportunity to do anything to her, but after a smile asked Nuao Qigao to take her back. Chapter 19. Decaying Navy. When I met again the next day, I didn't know why Luo Qing always felt that Nami looked weird in her eyes, including the high level of Nuaoqi. And this monster is not the same kind of monster, which makes Luo Qing feel a little panicked. Hey, do you really want Aaron's treasure? Last night, Nami had a rare sleep, and she didn't expect this guy to be unexpectedly timid. If he really thought he could do something when he was drunk, then there was too little alcohol. 1,000 cups of drunk female Bacchus is no joke. Unknowingly, Nami's affection for him has increased a bit. Maybe this affection is not enough to turn into a liking, but at least it is not annoying. I don't know if I don't hate it, it's a good start. Luo Qing was thinking about how to abduct her, and when she asked her, he became curious too. Is the Dragon Pirate Group rich? Well, I estimated it when I cleaned it up yesterday, and there are 100 million berries, to be less. So much. Luo Qing was surprised, and then he noticed Nami's smile. Ahem. I just didn't expect this guy to search for so much wealth. Are you too much? This is only half, and the other half is swallowed by the navy that manages here. If it wasn't for the pirates and the navy's embarrassment, how could Aaron occupy 20 villages in the East China Sea and still get away with it? Luo Qing didn't think there was anything strange, but Kirby who was following him didn't believe it at all. How is it possible? How can the Justice Navy accept bribes from pirates? Your son. Puff. Cough cough cough. Nami almost killed Luo Qing with an invisible blow. It's too much. Unless you want to be a dam, then I can barely admit it. Nami's face flushed slightly, and then she gave him a vicious look. Since Aaron was killed, she seemed to have recovered her nature, and she was not polite to Luo Qing, a great benefactor. Boy, I don't know in what environment you grew up, but I have no reason to lie to you. This is the evidence that was found yesterday. It records every tax paid by Aaron and his team to Colonel Mouse. There is also evidence that Colonel Mouse helped Aaron and his group cover up their crimes and plant faults on others. If you don't believe me, just take a look. Look at how ugly the navy that represents justice in your eyes. Nami directly took out a thick book of accounts from her chest pocket and threw it to Kirby. After taking it in a hurry, Kirby first glanced at Luo Qing cautiously, then gritted his teeth and turned over. This look made Kirby's expression more and more ugly until the final numbness. Did not use Luo Qing to personally shoot. The evidence that Nami threw away at random made Kirby's beautiful yearning for the navy collapse in half. The faith of the other half will probably not last long, because it's not good. A navy has docked. A villager ran over in a panic expression. Kirby looked at him blankly. Why is he so panicked? Shouldn't the navy be happy when it comes? In the eyes of these villagers, have they equated the navy with the vicious pirates? Even Nami panicked for a while, and now the evidence of Aaron's collusion with the navy is in her hands. If the navy learns that Aaron's gang has been wiped out, they will do everything to kill them. How to do? It turned out that before she knew it, Nami had already regarded Luo Qing as the backbone. This question should not be asked to me, but to yourself. Are you ready to resist? If things really got to the worst point, would you choose to continue to compromise or stand up and resist? For this, you may be far away from your beloved hometown and your family. Can you accept this price? As Luo Qing's questions became more and more, the expression on Nami's face became more and more confused. Luo Qing smiled and shook his head. Even if it was 2 years later, it would be so difficult for her to make this decision, let alone now. He gently placed his hand on Nami's head. If you don't understand, don't think about it. Go and take a look. What happens next will determine your answer. No matter what your final answer is, I will make it a reality. I promise with this glove. Nami bit her lip, looked at him complicatedly, and finally nodded. The evil dragon and pirate group was destroyed. Who did it? Colonel Mouse was taken aback. He came here this time to collect tax, but he didn't expect to hear such a news. It is said that it was a pirate hunter who followed a merchant ship. The reason for the conflict is not clear, but the opponent's strength is so strong that he killed Aaron's gang single-handedly and is now in the village. What about the savings of the dragon pirates? Colonel Mouse blinked. They were all taken away by the villagers. Yu reading www.yuikinshu.com said they wanted the property to be returned to the original owner. What a fool. The wealth that the pirates scavenged should of course be turned over to the navy for unified processing. My lord is right, let them vomit them all in a while. No, since they took the money from the dragon pirates, it proves that they have colluded with Aaron's gang. Call all the villagers to the square in a moment, remember, don't keep one. When the report was reported, it was written that the villagers of Kokoyashi village colluded with the dragon pirate group to attack the navy, and then under the leadership of the brave and martial master, this group of malignant tumors was completely defeated and a stable life in the East China Sea was returned. Did you hear clearly? Yes. The subordinates know what to do. The adjutant responded with a cold sweat on his face. He didn't expect that he still underestimated the morals of his boss. Even if he asked for money, he wouldn't let him go. Alas, blame yourself for not being reborn in a rich family. An hour later, more than 300 villagers were forcibly taken to the square by the navy with a look of evil. Standing in the front is Nami Luo Qing and the garrison Aegean here. And all the treasures collected from alongside are also piled up here. Only these. My lord, all the things I found from the dragon pirates are here, so I dare not hide it. Aegean bowed and bowed, hoping to use his wealth to send away the navy. Kirby, who was inconspicuous in the crowd, clenched his fist, staring at everything in front of him with fiery eyes. Master Luo Qing said, next he will use his own eyes to personally witness the fall of the navy. And after this matter is over, it's time for him to choose. Chapter 20. Nami and Kirby's choice. Is to confirm his original intention to join the navy and try to change the decay of the navy with his weak power, or to follow the advice of Lord Luo Qing and stay by his side to become a partner of justice. Colonel Mouse's next move will determine whether the navy will have one more supernova in the future, or whether there will be one more heavenly pride in this sea area who is working hard to implement true justice. Can you find anything other than these treasures? Colonel Mouse asked casually with a flash of eyes. All the things I found are here. Colonel Mouse nodded unceasingly, and then the adjutant attached to his ear and whispered, I have searched it all. I didn't find it. It should be hidden. Colonel Mouse smiled, very sinister. In that case, don't blame me for being cruel. You villagers with the most sinful crimes still want to deceive a navy colonel. As the remnants of the dragon pirates, you all die here. All the villagers were so shocked that they were speechless. They are from the dragon pirates, remnants. Are you ready to kill someone? Luo Qing glanced at Nami who was struggling, wondering what choice she would make next. At the moment the surrounding navy's muzzle was raised, Nami suddenly broke out. Wait a minute. What you want is with me. Nami walked out directly and threw the evidence to Colonel Mouse. Colonel Mouse turned it around and nodded in satisfaction. Very good, you are very familiar. Shoot. Bang bang bang. In the unbelievable gazes of Nami and Kirby and many villagers, the navy that was supposed to protect them pulled the trigger at these unarmed villagers. Many villagers lay down in a pool of blood in just one round of volley. Unexpectedly, Aaron and the gang of pirates were killed, but waiting for them was the more ferocious navy than the pirates. Do not look at you. All the dead villagers stared unwillingly. Help me. Help me kill them all. I was wrong. I shouldn't have been lucky from the beginning. What the am I doing? Facing Nami, who was holding her hand tight and tearing, Luo Qing still said, I said, no matter what your decision is, I will help you realize it. None of these navy mobs can run away. Even Luo Qing did not expect that Colonel Mouse would attack the villagers so suddenly, and what followed was huge anger. Even if there is no request from Nami, he will clean up the dregs. Luo Qing, who was under the rage shot, directly used the honey badger fruit and slippery fruit in the superimposed state, and Luo Qing, who was running at super high speed, never let the navy kill any villager. And every time he appears, there will be a panic. Hit, can't hit. Who will save me? I don't want to die yet. Don't come here, you devil. Colonel Mouse squinted his eyes to look at Luo Qing, and shouted, "You are the pirate hunter, right? Do you know what you are doing? Attacking the navy is a big crime. If you stop now, I can let you go safely and forget about the past." Listening to Colonel Mouse's screaming call, Luo Qing answered him with a vicious paw. Can sit in the position of colonel, even in the branch, Colonel Mouse has two brushes. Facing Luo Qing's high-speed attack, he blocked it with the long sword in his hand. It's just an animal demon fruit-capable person, don't think of me as a low-level murloc. Luo Qing really doesn't know where this wretched guy is so confident. He can't even beat Aaron and dare to yell like that. Don't make me laugh, you are much weaker than Aaron. Luo Qing's sharp claw on his right hand smashed his long sword into pieces with a fierce force, and then cut off one of his arms without losing his momentum. Hand. My hand. I want you to die. You are all going to die. If you dare to attack and kill the navy, no one can